decide what the stadium finalized deal is going to look like for the Laura Kelly expected to have a press conference at 3 o'clock today. So it feels like it is all coming together, at least with the Chiefs side of things. The Royals, we'll see. But that's why Drew's off to Topeka. I know Fesco's going to be there as well. And we'll see if everything ends up happening the way it sure seems like it's going to happen here a couple hours later.
I mean, barring some seismic shift in where all the momentum is heading, yes. Today at 1 o'clock, they'll have their meeting, which feels like a formality at this point. And then at 3 o'clock, all the big wigs between the Chiefs and the state of Kansas will get to take their victory lap in successfully taking them over the state line and building a brand new stadium. I don't know if we'd get like a rendering today. Kind of feels like we wouldn't. And the Chiefs would just do their own thing. But either way, the announcement that the Chiefs would go to the Legends area, which is where we kind of assume they'll be, and that they'd be moving to Kansas after what has been a 3-year at least, 4-year stadium saga. It's been almost 2 years since they voted it down in Jackson County. So, I got to assume it was like a year's worth of buildup in the run-up to that or something. So what feels like has been inevitable for a long time, one of these stadiums will finally actually get announced where they're going.
I do think, when you look at Kansas City sports history, though, I understand the Super Bowls and the on-the-field stuff that we obviously have experienced over the last couple of years. But when you think about the shift from the state of Missouri to the state of Kansas with an announcement expected later today, it is one of the biggest sports days we've had in Kansas City history. I mean, these are franchises that have always been at the Truman Sports Complex. Obviously, the Chiefs come from Dallas and the Dallas Texans. Lamar Hunt moves the team up here. He wanted a standalone metro area. He knew the Cowboys were going to be in control, really, of the Dallas area. And now we're talking about, for the first time in our lifetimes, and most of our listeners' lifetimes, really, that this team is not going to be playing in Missouri, 4+ years from now when they have a new stadium. That in its own right, this is one of the biggest shifts we've seen in Kansas City sports history.
And you can argue to what degree if you want, but it's inarguable that Arrowhead Stadium is an iconic venue in the NFL because it's not like baseball in the sense that there aren't that many older stadiums that exist in there. Arrowhead in its own right is an iconic venue. And so the idea that these two teams that have only really played there, I understand the Royals briefly played at Municipal or whatever, right? Like someone at a certain age might briefly remember the discussion point of, oh, here's a time in which the Royals played a different stadium. For almost anybody my age, even a little bit older than me, a little bit older than you, we only remember Kauffman Stadium, Arrowhead Stadium. The idea that today, and I understand it's still 4 or 5 years down the road, but the idea that today I'll know for sure that the Chiefs are no longer going to play at Arrowhead Stadium. No more football-shaped, scoreboards unless they bring that.
Yeah, who knows what elements they're going to have.
I understand they'll have tailgating, but not in that parking lot anymore. All the stuff we're kind of accustomed to, that at 3 o'clock today we might know that that's going to cease to exist. Yeah, that feels pretty big. That's a pretty impactful thing, I would say, to know.
I thought on Friday you could sense a bit of the desperation coming from the Missouri side. So you had Phil Lavoda, who's the interim Jackson County commissioner, held a somewhat of a surprise press conference. He also spoke about the property tax situation, but the interest to us, of course, was the Chiefs side of things. You had Mayor Q on with CDOT on Friday. I thought both were really, really interesting. It seemed like a lot of desperation, knowing where things were trending, and it seemed like a lot of table setting for what is going to happen today. What I mean by that is, hey, here's what we offered. We were willing to give them X amount of dollars. These were the incentives we were going to offer them, all of that, and yet they chose to leave us. It's not our fault. We gave them this great opportunity.
They're definitely gonna do
that's the table that they were setting, and look, that's politics, and that's going to play out no matter what side of the state line you're on. But listen to a little bit of what Mayor Q said with CDOT on Friday. I thought this was interesting because it's one thing to say, hey, we've got conversations going, we've got this to offer them. He was very confident that there was not going to be an announcement today, and barring a huge shift, that's going to be proven incorrect.
And why are you hearing a lot of people talking? Because you got a peacock if you want to steal something. That's the idea. But I'm actually not concerned. I'm sitting here fairly comfortable with where we are, the relationships we have, the negotiations we have. But I will say who will make the news and who will break the news. It ain't going to sneak up on Twitter or on this 7 a.m. hour of a radio show. It's going to be something that you see actually firmly announced, and you will not see that on Monday.
Something firmly announced, and you will not see that on Monday. Well, that's probably not going to be accurate, to say the least.
Barring some sort of change, I feel like that's definitely what we're going to see on a Monday. And I'm still surprised in the sense that, not now, but if you go back through all the, like, what Clark cares about and what the Hunt family cares about. Like, I don't even care if it's the small stuff, like the Preston Road Trophy, but his dad's name being on the Lamar Hunt Trophy, obviously, for the winner of the AFC, their history going back to the merger. Like, they are firmly, the Chiefs are firmly ingrained in the history of the NFL, the history of the AFC. They are one of, like, the 5 original families, it feels like, that still own an NFL team. I was surprised he'd be willing to, like, let Arrowhead go. I always thought he would try to find some way to maintain or keep Arrowhead. And you and I have said for a lot of reasons why we'd be fine with a new stadium and why that wouldn't bother us. But I am surprised he eventually got talked into it, because I think that there was a time where, not a riff, but a moment between the business side and the Chiefs side where the business side was like, hey man, it makes no financial sense for us to spend time at the Truman Sports Complex. We can't develop it. We can't put business around it. We can't make money off of it. It doesn't make sense. And the, like, we don't care. We want Arrowhead part of it. So I was, when they finally did kind of make this pull over to Kansas, I thought they'd find their way to stay at the Truman Sports Complex with a renovation for the longest time. And then they eventually, it seems like, are barreling towards this afternoon.
I'll be interested to hear, assuming Clark Hunt speaks this afternoon, and that would be the expectation if everything ends up happening the way we think it's going to later today. Someone will ask him, hey, what do you think it's a fair question. What do you think your dad would think of this move? Like,
someone's definitely going to ask him that, yeah.
And I'd be curious to hear his response. Like, you're laying out the fact that he built that stadium, or his dad built that stadium. Remember, though, his father also named the Super Bowl. And what do you possibly get with a brand new dome or retractable stadium?
You might get a Super Bowl if you got Clark's kind of pull.
There's a real thought, knowing that Clark Hunt has been very involved in these committees with the NFL for years, that his dad is one of the founding fathers, as you said, with where we're at and a lot of the elements of the NFL, including the Super Bowl being the Super Bowl, that they would throw him a bone if he gets a new stadium. And so there's part of that. As much as it is, oh my gosh, you're going to leave the stadium your dad built, there's a chance, though, that you're going to host a game that your dad named. And I think that's another element to this, that as much as on the negative side, people will bring up the leaving, there's also, you could honor him in that way. And I'll be curious to hear from Clark Hunt on that later.
I'm sure I'll have an answer for it. Nate Taylor was in here maybe a month ago, and he made it very clear in no uncertain terms. The Chiefs want a Super Bowl. And we know, like, they did the cold weather ones for a little while. They put it in Minneapolis, and they stuck it in Detroit, and they were like, we're kind of moving away from cold weather. We're back to New Orleans, Miami, Phoenix,
hard to blame
LA.
him, huh?
No, I don't blame him. It was like a snowstorm the year it was in Minneapolis. And so I understand the desire to move away from it. But if there's an owner that has the kind of pull that Clark Hunt has, if they build a brand new $2.5 billion, whatever the cost ends up being, stadium out there, I'd actually be kind of surprised if they didn't get one. It also mean that they could get another draft down the road. Could also mean Final Fours. And I mentioned, and I think people like WrestleManias, whatever the big events that we don't get now are, those are more likely to come to town in a new stadium project, which is what they're trying to wrestle and balance with. It will feel so weird. Same as Kaufman. This is not like unique to Arrowhead, but it will feel so weird the first time you go to a Chiefs game in Kansas City that is not at Arrowhead Stadium. Yeah. It will feel wrong in so many ways. And I understand you and I mean, we've been to some of the nicer stadiums in the league. Allegiant's quite pleasant to be in, despite the fact
there's not
it
much
is
personality there, and that's where the Chiefs are going to have to be creative with it. You know, yes, the fans make the atmosphere at Arrowhead. You're 100% right. And while there will be some fans that will not migrate over for a variety of reasons, either out of pride for their state, financial elements where we all know there's likely going to be PSLs, these personal seat licenses. And so there will be some fans that do not make the transition over. There will also be plenty of fans that do, and plenty of fans that are even more excited because of it. So I think acting like the atmosphere will stink is not true. But you're right, with these new mega stadiums that we've seen, the character is not the same. No. And that'll be the biggest adjustment if, in fact, today it gets announced. I want to remind everybody that the timeline for today, so at 1 o'clock, the expectation is that Kansas officials are going to hold this LCC meeting in Topeka to review the possible Chiefs Stadium finance plan. Then at 3 o'clock, And the reason why this is scheduled is because they expect that to be finalized. 3 o'clock, the governor, Laura Kelly, is going to hold a, quote, special announcement. I think
What could it be?
We can all assume what that is. Okay. And then there is at least one report out there saying that the mayor's office has commented on the Casey Moe side, that would be Mayor Lucas, that he would hold potentially a press conference today on the sports team's developments. So it would be a reaction to the fact that the Chiefs at that point in time, we would think, would be going to Kansas, but also what does it mean for the Royals? So that's the plan today, and it looks like it could be one of the more historical days in Kansas City history. You guys can always chime in on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. Video stream up and running, YouTube, Twitch, X, Facebook, and of course on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe. We were delaying the inevitable, which is talking about that miserable football game in Nashville.
Oh, you didn't enjoy it yesterday?
I forgot how miserable football looks. Like, we've been spoiled. We've been spoiled for a decade, since 2014, frankly, that the Chiefs haven't made the playoffs. That's the last time. And yesterday was a reminder that football pre-Andy Reid, football pre-Patrick Mahomes to a certain extent, but mainly pre-Andy Reid, because there were still some great years with Alex Smith. But that's what we had in this city. And I forgot how miserable of an experience it is to watch a bad football team play in a meaningless football game.
I'll be honest. Some of it is the Mahomes stuff. It was maybe the least enjoyable regular season game I have watched in a decade. Like, maybe 2012. Like, year before Andy Reid got here level bad. It was reminding me of watching Thigpen or Brady Quinn. I mean, it was just flashbacks to misery is what it felt like. And look, in the end, I can live because I want them to have a higher draft pick, and life is what it is. And so winning is not really in their best interest at this point. What's weird is I don't even think they weren't trying. I think on defense, they were actively, and on offense, were actively trying to win that football game and couldn't because of how bad it was. And I texted you guys in the middle of the game, and I put it in our little rundown or whatever. That game genuinely made me think, boy, Mahomes has been covering up some major issues for a while. Because when I had to watch Oladokin and even Minshew for the brief time try to cover this offense, I'm like, what, have you just been masking even defensive issues? This whole time, Patrick Mahomes has been raising their bar so high that I had been ignoring some other maybe slightly larger problems with their roster. Because watching that game yesterday made it look like a team that would have gone 2-15 without him.
Don't you hope, though, that as bad as that was, and we'll see how the final two play out with the Broncos and the Raiders, but is that what is going to cause them to look in the mirror even more? Like, I'm hoping it was so bad without Patrick Mahomes that there is an even more likelihood that they look in the mirror and say, all right, this roster has flaws. It doesn't have to be completely blown up, but we've got a lot of roster holes. We've got to take a longer view approach. You know, not a full rebuild, but a true retooling of the roster. That this is not just, we get Mahomes back, and there were just some breaks that didn't go our way here in 2025. I think it's very clearly more than just that, whether we're talking on the coaching staff, whether we're talking with personnel, and they're going to have some really tough decisions to make in the offseason.
To only have pride to play for and then still show up like that is tough. Because what's remaining for the rest of the season? You and I want them to get a better draft pick. We know they're going to try. So, what do they have left to try for? Ruin Denver's chance at the number 1 seed? They got that, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea.
I guess. Well, that's fun, at least. If they're going to win, ruining Denver's day is fun. I don't care about that. Travis Kelce's last game at Arrowhead? I guess they've got that. And look, I was very disappointed they didn't let Travis Kelce throw a ball in the last one. Give him his final home game. Yes. He's thrown a couple in his career. They're down to Oladokin. I don't know what quarterback they're going to sign the rest of the way. Let Travis Kelce go out throwing one more pass. Give him one more pass, Gold. What's the harm? He used to be their emergency quarterback. I think it might be Noah Gray now. But give Travis Kelce one attempt.
Yeah, I don't need that, but I will say that, if these final 3 games, now 2 games, hopefully that's not how it goes for Travis Kelce individually, where he's on a team that has nothing going offensively. Now we know he's going to have a third-string quarterback throwing him the football, but where he's getting just 1 or 2 targets. My guess is on Christmas against the Broncos, they've got to scheme up a few things. His last game at Arrowhead, if in fact it is, and it looks like it probably is going to be, it cannot be with him having 1 target, 1 catch for 5 yards.
The problem is, though, right now where their roster's set, they've got a massive talent disparity between these two teams going into this game, especially because of the quarterback situation. So when they step on the field on Thursday, what world can I envision the upset for Kansas City? Like, it would take 3 turnovers and a punt return for touchdown at this point. Like, it is hard to see a pathway where Chris Oladokun or whatever quarterback, I guess they sign off the street, Phillip Rivers style. Matt Castle said he was available on Twitter.
I saw that tweet.
And I couldn't even take it. I had to take it at least half serious because of Phillip Rivers' return, but also because I don't know what quarterbacks are left on the street to just be the backup to Oladokun, other than if it's whatever training camp quarterback they had, and I don't remember the name.
But that doesn't even matter. I mean, it's gonna be Chris on
well,
Thursday
unless he gets
night.
hurt the way Gardner Minshew got hurt.
Well, sure, yeah, that's just some bad injury. Like, I actually feel terrible for Gardner
I do
Minshew. He
too.
had an unbelievable opportunity in the final 3 weeks to audition, perhaps to be the starting quarterback week 1 next year if Patrick Mahomes is not back from the ACL injury. And now, no audition. He's not going to be ready himself for week 1. That's a devastating injury for him. I do feel for Gardner Minshew. He had a great opportunity, and what, he threw 3 passes or something like that, and that's it?
I will say it might be small, admittedly, in this game, and it's not going to make you feel any better. I'll just be honest. It is not going to make you feel any better about how bad the Chiefs looked yesterday. Because, again, awful viewing experience. Not fun to watch. No one enjoyed watching it. I saw Matt Foster, his video after the game with Trey Smith, Travis, and both his podcasts and the stuff leading up to it talking about it. I do like that Travis Kelce and guys like Trey Smith are still saying, it's my job. They're like, why are you even out there? Why not just shut it down for the season? Why not just call it good? And Trey Smith's like, you're clearly dealing with a back issue. Like, it's my job. I'm being paid a lot of money, whether it's to protect Patrick Mahomes or Chris Oladokun, and I'm going to protect him. And Travis Kelce, these might be his last few chances to play football because there's still you and I think, a better than not chance he retires at the end of the season. At least there's still something to play for. I'm going to play for a little bit of pride. I am going to go out at least still trying to play this game, even if it's ugly. I know it's not going to make you feel better about the performance, but some guys are still out there giving it a shot.
Well, Thursday, I mean, as it relates to Kelce, Thursday should be viewed as a bit of a celebration for him, if in fact this is it. Thursday night, Christmas night, you're going to see fans with all sorts of signs, I'm sure, celebrating Travis Kelce, knowing this might be the last time they get to see him play football in person. A guy that's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, everything that he's done for this franchise. And he's got some milestones, career milestones that he potentially can hit. I think the latest number is, 6 or so away from passing guys like Anquan Bolden. Those are the kind of things I want to make sure they accomplish in the final couple weeks. We're at that point, it kind of sucks that we're talking about just making sure certain guys get certain incentives, but that's where we're at. And Travis Kelce is somebody that you absolutely do right by if you're the organization, scheming up some opportunities, making sure he at least gets some of those done before he hangs the cleats up.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it. If given the opportunity, I don't know why you wouldn't just force feed him at this point. Plus, the entire offense was operating inside of 5 to 7 yards of the offensive line? So it's not like they weren't already working towards this. But I do wonder at what point for the Chiefs this season will the frustration boil over so much, and that game very well could have been it, that everyone's just like, well, just pack up shop, start purchasing my tickets for whatever off-season vacation I'm taking because I can't take it anymore. And losing to the Tennessee Titans by 2.5 touchdowns and then having to turn around on a short week and take on a divisional opponent who is currently the number 1 seed in the AFC, that's going to be a tough one. Now, the only hope that gives me is maybe it's a divisional game and things get weird and I watch backup quarterbacks do weirdo stuff all the time. Maybe there's just some miracle for Christmas and they can make it a game and at the very least, make Denver sweat a little. Can you give me that? When you and I are sitting around on that night, can we get a little sweat, Gold? Can we feel a little bit of a challenge for Denver? Please.
They put themselves in a spot. They're not ruining Christmas this go around, though. Last year they won on Christmas. They lost on Thanksgiving. They're at a point now where I don't think they can even do that for fans because of where the season has trended. I think the other thing, though, for Kansas City heading into this one, and we're going to talk about it more in about 10 minutes or so, is still will they play younger players in this spot? And I know there were particular Brashard Smith, the running back we wanted to see more of. There was Bassa, we didn't get to see all that much of. I don't understand that approach. As bad as it was in Nashville, and maybe they'll change in the final 2 games against Denver, why is Brashard Smith not getting more carries, more touches? Isaiah Pacheco, guy that's won a couple rings with your organization, right?
Yep.
Simply not the same player post-injury. I don't need to see him getting the majority of touches out of the backfield. Kareem Hunt, the majority of touches out of the backfield. We are beyond time for them to go ahead and start showcasing some of the younger players to see what you have at the running back spot next year.
I know we're going to really focus on that here in a minute because there is a big part of that. I think this goes back to this Andy Reid is a player's coach thing. And he knows Pacheco doesn't have a job with him next year. And he wants to make sure that some other team can choose to get Pacheco a job. And when you have a coach like that, and that's his reputation, and players love playing for him, and why they play hard for him, that's maybe this idea going into it. But I mean, there was zero redeemable qualities of that entire game. Special teams still stunk. They had bad kick returns, penalties on kick returns. Somehow they managed to get a holding call on a punt return in which their punt returner took a helmet to the directly to the junk.
Yeah, Remigio did, yes. Yeah, that happened.
I mean, he looked like he was in discomfort for the better part of 15 minutes after that, continuing to adjust himself.
I would have been on the ground for another 20 minutes.
I'd
just
have
sitting
retired.
there.
If I were a professional football player, which I've clearly never been close to in my entire life, I'd have retired. That'd have been it. That'd have been my last snap as a player. I'd have quit the second that happened to me. But even on that, they had a penalty called on them. He got hit before the ball even got there, and they still got a penalty called on them. Missed kicks, bad kick returns. Defense couldn't get a stop. The Titans beat them on 3rd and long, a consistent problem all year. Then you get into the offense part, can't move the ball. And look, some of it's just, you're down to Minshew and Oladokin and, but they weren't, and backup tackles and backup left and right tackles.
It was a disaster.
It's not designed to be good, but it was a mess.
Monday's football cover is presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success at Busey Bank. They've been building business and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com. We will get into more about the rookies and what we want to see in the final couple weeks here in just a little bit. I have an update for you, though, on the Guillotine League. Remember the controversy on Thursday and Friday, and people were saying, am I a jerk for not agreeing to do the chop or not? And then Puka Nacua goes out there and gets 45 points, and I started getting messages saying, see, Gold, you should have taken the deal for the Guillotine League.
I didn't say that. I just said it was always a risk from the beginning.
I was projected to win by 15, winner take all, Guillotine, loaded roster. Puka goes out, gets 45 on Thursday night, and then at that point, I'm projected to only win by 4. Fast forward to tonight. Here's what we have. People were asking on the text line if I'm going to regret not chopping. The answer is no. I need 8 points. 8 points from McCaffrey.
PPR league, right?
This is it. 8 points tonight.
Oh,
so I'm still very happy with my decision. You said I was overly confident. Very happy with my decision to not agree to the chop.
I definitely thought you were overly confident just knowing fantasy football projections. I don't think 15 is enough for me to be like, yep, I'm all squared away. But barring an injury, you're fine.
Well,
Tonight?
that's the risk with McCaffrey, right? It's either it's McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor. Which one? I can choose either because it's a Guillotine League. The roster's loaded. CMC, I think, you can get PPR, so I can get the receptions, whereas Taylor's not going to catch the ball.
I think you have to start McCaffrey. Even though the injury risk is a real risk for your team, I would say you're fine.
The trash talk was heating up too. I got a couple messages as soon
from other people in the league or from him?
Yeah, well, and from him.
Oh, that's just bad.
Thursday night,
cursing yourself.
Thursday night, I get you left JSN on your bench. He got 22 points. How could you? It's Guillotine League though, Cody.
Everybody gets 22 points.
Correct. So I feel pretty good, barring 2 carries in and McCaffrey tweaks an ankle or something. Should be set.
I just I know that the only part that should scare you is that Christian McCaffrey is, but he's either hurt the entire year or healthy the entire year. He tends to go one of two ways. He doesn't tend to just get dinged up and miss a game. He just misses an entire season or plays the entire time.
I was looking forward to.
So you're probably safe.
I was looking forward to Phillip Rivers tonight for Monday Night Football, and then I saw last week, and they should have won the game. It felt like that was all in for the Seattle Seahawks game. Game plan wise, we're going to play amazing defense. We're going to limit possessions, and it still wasn't good enough. This to me is a game where the Niners are actually going to blow out the Colts. I actually like them quite a bit tonight.
You don't think it's going to happen for
It was all in last week for Phillip Rivers and the Colts. Now for the 49ers, we're able to see the limitations, frankly, of Phillip Rivers against Seattle. They'll exploit those even more. I think it's going to get ugly.
Isn't it crazy? I mentioned Matt Castle earlier. Is it related to signing a quarterback off the street the way Phillip Rivers is? Matt Castle's a year younger than Phillip Rivers.
A year younger?
Younger! Oh, how long ago does it seem like Matt Castle?
When's the last time he threw a football?
Oh, I mean...
Rivers was in the COVID year, 2020.
Let me look, because now you've got me curious. The last time he threw a pass, 2018. 2 full years before Phillip Rivers.
7 years ago, man.
No, I'm not saying they should sign Matt Castle.
No, come on.
And in that year, he only threw for 59 yards. He was a backup quarterback for then Detroit. And was active for 2 whole games. He only really threw he was only in 8 total games from 2016 to 2018. Gotcha. So probably not the best signing.
We're just getting started here on a Monday. We'll certainly keep an eye on any stadium news that might be coming out of Topeka. Remember, 1 o'clock today, that's when the LCC meeting is expected to take place and perhaps finalize a stadium deal that would send the Chiefs across the state lines to the state of Kansas. But we'll talk more on the field again with the Chiefs and some of these young players and whether or not the Royals TV deal could be a problem in 2026.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. Well, if this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back and unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly.
At Busey, banking is about more than numbers. It's about relationships. For over 150 years, we've been helping individuals, families, and businesses reach their goals with personalized service and local decision-making. Whether you're opening your first account or planning your next big move, we're here with the tools and support to help you move forward with confidence. Busey Bank, your partner for life's moments, both big and small. Member FDIC.
Gates Barbecue's distinctive flavors will make your holiday meals unforgettable. Spice up your holiday table with Gates sauces and seasonings. Prepare your meats, potatoes, and vegetables with Gates seasonings and top it off with one of the 5 Gates sauces. While watching a game or your favorite holiday movie, sprinkle Gates original seasoning on a bowl of hot buttered popcorn. So good. You can buy Gates at your neighborhood grocer or online at gatesbbq.com. Gates Barbecue, still doing it the old-fashioned way. Thanks with love.
If ringing in the holidays includes cheers and libations, Gomer's has your back. Voted #1 Casey Liquor Shop, they offer a wide variety of beer, wine, and spirits at great prices. Stop by one of their 5 locations. You'll be glad you did. At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here to tell you Rob Sight Ford is closing in on a record-setting year, and they're doing whatever it takes to get there.
That's right, Kevin. We're pulling out all the stops to finish the year strong. 0% for up to 66 months on most Ford models, including F-150s, Escapes, Explorers, Super Duties, and Transits. Top dollar trade-ins and pricing other dealers won't match.
If you've been waiting for the moment to buy, this is it. We've got the vehicles. We've got the deals. We just need one thing, you behind the wheel.
Impeccable rhyme, Kevin. But hey, this is simple, upfront, and easy, and it all ends January 5th.
Kansas City's only top-rated Ford Ford dealer on Google, 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and voted best car dealership in Kansas City by Kansas City Magazine. And now we're going for the finish line. Rob Sight Ford. Buy right with Rob Sight.
135th and State Line or ROBSIGHT.com. You want inventory, you want price, you want more for your trade. Let's make it happen.
End the year in a Ford before this event drives off.
Are you like everybody else in the world who has no idea what to get everyone for the holidays? Well, you're in luck. We got you. Hands-free Skechers slip-ins. Because with hands-free Skechers slip-ins, you just step into them and they're on. There's no bending down, no touching, no fuss. Plus, Skechers slip-ins come in everyone's favorite styles and colors. And you can get slip-ins everywhere stylish footwear is sold, including a Skechers store. Or if you're too busy to shop in person, just get them online at Skechers.com, Amazon, and more.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu, the daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 42424. That's METER to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Chiefs coverage this past hour has been brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside rescues thousands of animals each year. Your gift today provides a complete circle of life-saving care they need to heal and find loving homes. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaves.org to make your life-saving gift today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Just getting started here on a Monday. A little bit later on in the 1 o'clock hour today, Nate Taylor from ESPN going to join us. Not only will we talk a little bit about yesterday in Nashville, but of course his thoughts on the stadium front. Right when Nate joins us is when the LCC meeting is expected to take place in Topeka to finalize a decision for the Chiefs stadium deal, which would send them to the state of Kansas. I was telling you during the break, and I was reading the text line, which is always open, 913-586-7965. And I recognize that there's a huge chunk of our audience that may be bummed out about the news. There's also a huge chunk of the audience that's excited. And I told you, like, is it all right for me to be excited, though? Still, like, obviously I live on the side of the state line, the Kansas side. Like, I'm excited for today. I would be lying to you if I told you, oh, yeah, you know. Yeah, I'm obviously excited. You know,
it'd be kind of weird for me to be like, no, you can't be excited unless you're mad about Arrowhead. Because there are people on the Kansas side that are still mad about this too. Because they like Arrowhead.
Sure. Yeah, and we've talked about our experiences at Arrowhead. You and I both grew up in this area. All I know is Arrowhead. That's the first stadium I ever went to for a sporting event. and of course have seen some amazing games there, including multiple AFC title games. And Arrowhead will always be, the best, frankly. Now there's the new stadium, and over time, I think there'll be elements of it that people really, really, really like.
Yeah.
And we all know where the league is shifting. But I'd be lying to you. I'm excited for today. Also excited because we've been talking about this for 4 years.
That might be where my excitement is I just want to know. Like 2 months ago, I couldn't take it anymore, and it's been 2 years since doing this. And I know we'll talk more about the stadiums later in the show again, too. This really boils down to, very simple math, which is Jackson County had a chance, and the state had a chance a couple of years ago. The vote failed, and for a variety of reasons. Not all just the voters' fault. I'm not trying to say, they didn't do it. It was a bad plan and all this other stuff. But we warned that, they could go to Kansas if this were the case. But this idea that they're just lobbing these Hail Marys now, Phil, the voter, he sent a letter. Ooh. Oh, he really got him now. He sent a letter. They have had 18 to 24 full months to send letters to the Chiefs outlining their plan. The only reason it's public now and they're actually attempting to do anything is because they're going to lose their baby. And they don't want to lose it. And so now they're doing the Hail Mary stuff. And it's you didn't just have the vote. You had all the time from the vote ended until Kansas got serious about it to make an attempt, to make a play, to genuinely try. And it feels like this is all last-ditch effort stuff now, which feels kind of useless.
I think what we're seeing in the last 72 hours is just a lot of the political side of it, which is we're going to lay, as I said, the table out with what we were willing to offer, we being Jackson County, Missouri
our
side.
plan's better,
and say, hey, we were willing to give them, let's say, $700 million, whatever the number is, right? So
more than Kansas is giving them, that's what they'll say.
Yeah, and a better plan with it, that'll be the spin. And that's, by the way, that's not unique to them. That would have happened on the flip side, too. If all of a sudden, if the Chiefs would have announced that they're staying and none of the teams are going to Kansas folks on the Kansas side would say the same thing. We did everything. We were willing to give them all this, no public vote, all of that. So some of that is part of it. They're also worried about, in some cases, some of them are not up for re-election, others are, but that is also the side of it on both sides of the state line. You've got politicians on the Kansas side that are going to use this to help them get elected in a certain office, and there's folks on the Missouri side that are worried that this could hurt them retaining office or whatever. So
or getting higher office.
Politics are definitely at play. The Phil Lavoda press conference, we'll play some of that again, maybe in the 11 o'clock hour. That was desperation, and it's not even his fault. He took over and tried to clean up the Frank White mess just way too late, though, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, it was bad. Then you get the game yesterday, which we've talked a little bit about in the frustration over it. This is where I'll hear the arguments for, and the beginning of the arguments. Not that I'm there yet, but if we go through this in another year, then this is where I'll get on board. And you and I had said, we go through another year, then I'll be in the same boat as the game pass Andy Reid by, and we'll have to have that conversation, truthfully. Because their unwillingness to play young players in the game yesterday was the most frustrated I've been with this organization all year. It is neglect. Jack Cochran cannot have 3 times as many snaps as Bassa. Mike Edwards cannot have triple the amount of snaps as Jaden Hicks. Brashard Smith didn't get a carry. Jalen Royals took 3 snaps. What the hell are we doing? You were down 26-9. Hell, even if you didn't start the game giving those guys the snaps, when the game was done, at what point are you willing to actually, so either you're completely unwilling to give young players a chance even in a lost season, or you think they stink, in which case just cut them because they stink and don't deserve to be on a football field. Those are the only 2 explanations, because not playing any of the young players yesterday was so frustrating. More frustrating for some players than others, but it's crazy that Jack Cochran and Mike Edwards and all these other dusty veterans are getting chances to play instead of young players who could actually help you next year.
Yeah, Jaden Hicks, not getting playing time over Mike Edwards, and then Pacheco over Brashard Smith are the 2 that stand out the most to me. We discussed this going into the game. Hey, I understand Pacheco's going to get some carries, but Brashard Smith should not get, I even said, should not only get 5. Cody didn't even get 5 carries. I was hoping he was going to get 8 to 10 carries. He didn't get anywhere near that. It makes no sense. I think this is the disconnect that I believe it was Nate Taylor was with us last week, kind of alluded to, going to the draft conversation, which is it feels like you have a front office maybe that is willing to move forward with how they approach the draft as well, and looking at a kind of a more broad view of the organization. And then you have a little bit of a disconnect for the first time. As much as we've talked about the synergy that exists from the top down of the organization, I think for the first time, there is still a little bit of a disconnect of what the front office is willing to do and what the veteran coaching staff wants to do. And that is certain players they trust or don't trust. As much as we can say, hey, you whiffed on a draft pick, there are also certain players that you draft and the coaching staff may not be willing to give an opportunity to. And it's one thing when it's week 5, week 10, when your team is in the playoff hunt still. Now there's just no reason for it. Like, Mike Edwards has no long-term future with this organization. Isaiah Pacheco no longer will have a long-term future with this organization. I know you can't bench everybody. You got to play some of the veterans. You got to field a roster. You got to field 11 men on the field at a time. Like, what I don't get is, at a position like running back, where you rotate guys in anyway, like it's not just Pacheco, it was Pacheco and Hunt all year. Why not dial back some of the carries for those guys and increase it for Brashard Smith? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Find out what you have, because Brashard Smith could be your number 2 running back next year. They only have Carson Steele, maybe, and Brashard Smith under contract next year. And Carson Steele by now, I think it's pretty obvious, is not part of their plans anyway.
I'll just be honest. It's bad coaching. It's bad coaching. It's bad, or like it's a bad organizational decision. It's all of those things. I don't care that a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, Spags stood up at a podium and said, Hicks did not take the developmental leap we were hoping for, and he's been making a lot of mistakes, and those errors are costing us. What can it cost you now? Nothing? A game against the Titans? Oh, no. It can't cost you anything anymore. There's no, it burns you down the road. Like, some veterans going to turn on you. They also probably know which players can help them next year. Some of this comes to these, like, you can be a player's coach. You really can. I'm not saying you can't be, and that's not important. But they take the player's coach thing too far when it comes to, like, the protected veteran class of, no, we can't possibly not let Mike Edwards audition for his next. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
That's not how it works. Just get him out of here.
913-586-7965. Someone says, why do you guys think you know more than the Chiefs do watching these guys practice every day? 2 things with that. Number one,
I'm not even claiming they're better.
It's not that. It's, you got to find out what you have, and these games don't mean anything at this point in time. You might as well start looking ahead and find out what do you have moving forward. That's number one. Number 2, if the philosophy is that the coaches are perfect at everything and nobody can be critical, then we're all missing the point of, not only what this whole thing is and this platform is, but also just, how sports and commentary work. This idea that we're supposed to be like, oh, well, Cody, they're doing this, so there's no way it could be possibly incorrect. That's just not how this works.
It's also just not accurate. And so, like, this is always, and we run into this issue all the time. Alex and I don't sit here in this pulpit and claim to be overall more ingrained with what the roster is, what the team is, how to run a complicated offensive system in the NFL. But also, if you're here to tell me that the Chiefs were right about what their running back situation was going into the year, and that we were wrong, I think you're stupid. Because we said the entire offseason, get a running back. Your running backs are no good, and you need one. And if you're here to tell me you still think that the Chiefs were right, that they did not need a running back, well, then I'm going to tell you, like, what are we watching? Like, teams can still be wrong in their decision.
And sometimes you're just too close to the situation. Like, this is not a knowledge thing. Andy Reid will know more about football than everybody. It's just sometimes you get, there's a lot of ego involved, and you think you have all the correct answers when it comes to even play calling, when it comes to roster construction. At times, you're not able to step back a little bit. And I think that is what happens a little bit, especially with, the track record of success that they have had. I mean,
they get a lot more grace in getting decisions right. Absolutely. But it's just, this one doesn't make any sense. Well, if they were still fighting for a playoff spot, I wouldn't even be arguing this. If they think at the end, and look, I might argue a little like, I don't know, you sure Brashard doesn't, like we did early in the year. Are you sure Brashard doesn't help you a little bit? But we didn't also beat it to death. But at this point, giving Isaiah Pacheco 80% of the snaps at running back and giving Brashard Smith 20% of the snaps at running back just doesn't make future sense. They know Isaiah Pacheco is not long for this world in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform. Hell, I tell you that there's a better chance Kareem Hunt's on this roster next year than Isaiah Pacheco. And I'm not saying it's a 0% chance, but it's a low probability. If he is on your roster, you know what he is. You know what type of player he is. It is a fact. He is an established NFL player who has things he does well, things he doesn't do well. We know who Isaiah Pacheco is. We don't know anything about Brashard Smith as a running back because he's never been given an opportunity in an NFL field during a regular game to prove it.
The name we didn't even mention, Jalen Royals. Same thing.
He had 3 snaps. Yeah.
Same thing. What? Your number one receiver, Rashee Rice.
We're starting running curls with Juju.
Rice and Thornton were both out. So you're down 2 guys on the depth chart, and Jalen Royals still could only get 3 snaps. It's really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. That's one thing I do hope changes in the final 2 games, but why should I think that actually
is there any part of you
is
that
going
think
to
it
happen? There's a small part of me that thinks that they would do it in the final 2 games, but I would have thought they would have started that now.
The leading wide receiver in snaps was Juju Smith-Schuster, who got 41. Juju Smith-Schuster, who I know is not 37 years old. He just feels that way. He's actually like 27 or 28 or something. He's younger than you think.
Yep.
But, I mean, is he going to even be on this roster? Holly Brown going to be back on this roster? Got 24 snaps? Like, are these players going to be on the roster?
Royals, Worthy, and Rice are probably the only guys in that wide receiver room that are back next year.
Maybe Taekwon.
Maybe Taekwon. That's fair. Yep.
I mean, I don't think it's like
that's fair.
I think it's like a 50-50 shot, maybe Taekwon.
You're right. That's a name I should throw.
But he wasn't even playing. So at least if you were playing Taekwon, go. If Royals couldn't get on the field because they were playing Taekwon, I'd be like, you know what? They're trying to further evaluate. Is he their Justin Watson guy? Do they give him another year, bring him back? I make the argument. I hear you out. I don't think there's any chance Juju Smith-Schuster is on this roster next year. And if he is, you know what he is. He's an excellent blocker who can run some slants. Okay, fine. You already know. And I'm not saying you have to give him 0. That was never our argument. Doesn't mean Isaiah Pacheco doesn't get a single carry in the game. But it can't be that he gets 15 carries and Brashard Smith gets 0.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll get to the latest in the NFL with some of the coaching rumors that are out there, including a coach in the Chiefs division and whether or not his future is in doubt. And we'll briefly talk about the CFP first-round action. I think it brought the takes that were all probably right there. People were waiting to press send on social media.
Saban.
Yeah, Nick Saban as well. So we'll get to that coming up in the next hour. But some news that I thought a lot of this was resolved, frankly, over a year or so ago when bankruptcy happened. But FanDuel Sports Networks, according to a couple reports, once again in trouble. We all know why is that relevant here in Kansas City. That's because the Royals broadcast, our regional partner, is through the FanDuel Sports Network. The Main Street Sports Group owns the FanDuel branded regional networks. And according to Sports Business Journal, they are at serious risk of dissolving unless a sale to sports streaming platform DAZN closes by January. And the news, this radio little excerpt from this article. It says the news comes as Main Street missed a December rights payment to the Cardinals. The company's 29 combined franchises between the NBA, NHL, and MLB are also at the same risk of missing rights payments in the coming months. This is a big problem, perhaps, for Major League Baseball, for the Royals, and where this could go.
Teams who count on this money.
Yeah, it's a huge chunk of money that's on the books for them that they absolutely count on. Now, what would happen? The NBA said if it happens in the middle of their season, that the league would step in, utilize NBA League Pass, and that the 13 teams that are under this umbrella, they would just, take it in-house, and then they would have to scramble to try to find a local distribution method over the air affiliates kind of thing. So the Royals at least have a little bit of leeway. It's on the middle of their season, but there's a chance right before the season starts, they could also be scrambling. I know a couple of their games
took a few under their wing.
And a couple of their games were on over the air this year, right? What was it? KSMO or whatever. Yep. And they aired, what was it, like 6 games, 7 games, something like that?
It was a little more than that. It was kind of like every other Sunday or something.
Channel 5 had a couple of them.
Yeah. KSMO aired a few more, and then Channel 5 had a few more in addition to that. Honestly, best thing for baseball, because we were waiting for this bubble, the sports TV bubble, and it appears to be in the regional network end. Not for the NFL, not for the NBA, not for these massive network deals, not for NBA on NBC, not for MLB on, whatever streaming platform, Netflix, right? There'll always be a market for that. But for these regionalized sports network, the numbers had gotten so big, and in the long run, it would be good for the Royals and for baseball if they can talk all the baseball for the health of the sport. And because more owners are going to be in trouble with this, just like the Royals, for the health of the sport, if all the distribution comes in-house. And it is an NFL model of equal sharing rights, actual media network rights, not where the Dodgers get $125 million for their yearly deal and the Royals get 40. And I understand why the Dodgers
why would they want that?
Not the Dodgers. You just need a majority. And there's only right now 5 to 9 teams or so in Major League Baseball that are the huge beneficiary of, we make so much more money than the rest of you that we can't handle it. You got to convince some of them it's for the health of the sport. They got a million other revenue options anyway. It's not the only way that the Dodgers make money or can spend way more money than the Royals or any of these other teams. It is not their only source of income or why they make so much more income than these others. So in the long run, I think it might actually be good for the health of the sport if these collapse in a weird way.
It's only the fact though is that you'd be scrambling, last minute. In the NBA, you're talking about in season. That Major League Baseball, this is something that I think the Royals would know in January. It sounds like there's still a chance that DAZN, who is overseas, if you watch boxing, you're probably more familiar with DAZN. Is you've probably seen the app, right? The black and white logo or whatever that they have. If they buy this, if they purchase this, or this deal goes through, then what we're discussing is all good and nothing's going to happen, and they'll move forward as they are currently operating. But this report came up over the weekend from Sports Business Journal that this is a realistic possibility that we could see some of this go in-house, and maybe it ends up with some more games over the air. I don't know, for the Royals' 2026 season.
Could very well. Now, we'll see what deal they work out. I think their very first game this year is on national TV, isn't it? Is that why they moved it to that Friday night? That was weird. We didn't talk about that on the show. There was other stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the Royals opening game, which would typically be on Thursday in Atlanta, is now on Friday night.
Yep.
And so,
it is for TV reasons.
It's gonna feel so bizarre. Some of it is just it feels like such a momentum killer for us. Baseball is here and it's back, and we come on the show on a Friday, and then a Friday night, and there's a whole series before we talk about it when it comes back on a Monday. Feels weird.
Yeah, we don't get a real opening day. The excitement, hey, we're 4 hours away from a baseball game happening on opening day.
I think
Instead,
the whole opener make it that way.
It'll be a bunch of games on Thursday, and then on Friday we're still waiting, and then you get the home opener, which will be the home opener is going to feel more like a true opening day this year because it really will actually be an afternoon baseball game. I don't know about you. I don't like opening day, even if they were hosting it. I don't want it at night. I want it in the afternoon. I want opening day baseball.
I don't disagree. It's something about some things just feel right when they exist in the correct moment. It'd be like watching the Super Bowl at noon. Be like, well, that's not right. The Super Bowl's not at noon. That's a weird time, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. Opening day baseball, you're right, should be in the day. The daytime.
I guess the one exception, when the Royals won the World Series, so it would have been the 2016 season the next year when they were wearing the gold uniform. That was at night, right? Against the Mets. But that's different.
I don't know.
That's
I'm
a
with
celebration of what you just did.
You got the standalone game that says, here we are. We're here and we've done it. So that felt a little bit different. But yes, other than that, opening day baseball feels like it should be during the day. Something about that's going to be weird. I do think in the long-term health of baseball, having negotiated collective rights for video, and it's going to make it more accessible. The thing that is so frustrating now about it is how many different ways that you have to, how many different platforms you might need. It's just hard to get them all the time.
Someone was texting. They said, no, the 2016 opener was even a day game. So that Mets game with the gold unis and everything, or the gold,
must have been that Friday night.
Yeah.
So that Mets game was definitely at night.
It was okay. So we were right.
It was Sunday night baseball.
Okay, that's what I thought. So the text line's always right. I was told though, so I was trusting the text line. And there, I'm glad we got that clarified. I thought it was a night game. I was there. So
he said it was a Sunday night game.
But still, it was a night game.
I'm 90% confident it was Sunday night baseball.
Isn't that what they do?
Season?
Isn't that what they do now with every whoever wins the World Series? So the Dodgers, they'll open up on a Sunday night game, won't they?
Well, haven't they opened up in Japan?
Wow, that's true. That's also terrible.
Yeah, so I don't know what opening.
That's fair. I can't stand that. Opening day should not open up in another country. What are we doing?
It was Sunday, April 3rd, 7:38.
Okay.
First pitch.
Boom. The boss is always right.
6:38.
Blind squirrel finds a nut.
Local.
So, I love this because despite what we just said and what you just said, we're still getting.
I was up on Baseball Reference.
Someone said I was at the game. They gave out rings. It was a day game. So I
regret to inform you that the sun was just up longer. It was not day. I'm looking at it on Baseball Reference. It said 6:38 local time, first pitch. 40,000 people in attendance. Sunday, April 3rd against the Mets.
They probably went to a
day game
that was close with a giveaway of replica rings. That was not opening night for the Royals.
I literally need to go look, and now you would think I would have it memorized. I have Cody, you've been to my apartment. I have a framed, over my couch, one area of my couch, I have a framed photo. It's the aerial shot of opening day 2016 from and it says world champions, and it's that. Now, it was kind of light out, I will say, but as Cody said, it's April. It's a little lighter
in
out.
April, the sun's still up.
Yeah, we've
It's
already
not now.
sprung forward or whatever.
Yeah, the shortest day of the year just happened, so it's just going to get longer.
I am happy about that. There's nothing worse than 5 o'clock being dark. That's awful.
Oh, it's the worst.
Glad
Are you guys good with 70 degrees on Christmas Day?
Oh, I love it. I love this.
No, this is what I was just talking about day game with baseball. It's wrong. Spec, it's wrong like a day game is wrong.
Give me warm weather any day of the year.
Christmas should not be 73. I should not be allowed to wear shorts on Christmas Day comfortably.
It's weird. I'll give you that. Like, it feels a bit off, but you're telling me you'd rather have 5 degrees and struggling to drive to your in-laws' house because the weather sucks? No. I love it. I can't wait for this week to continue the way it is.
It could be 40. I'm not against 40. I'm just saying it can't be 70. You're going to be in a T-shirt and shorts to your family?
I won't. I'll wear jeans still, and I'll wear jeans and a polo or something.
Just wrong.
Because I'll be inside. I'm not going to be playing football in the backyard or something, you know?
No. We used to do that a lot on Christmas Day.
My nephews might want to shoot some hoops in the front yard or something like that.
If it's 70, I would think so.
There you go. I'm glad we got the opening day stuff sorted out. All right, up next, let's talk about the latest news around coaching in the NFL, including one coach that has his future in doubt in the AFC West, plus the narrative around the CFP. It's exactly what you thought it would be after the weekend.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
'Tis the season to be boosting on FanDuel, because this year you're getting 7 straight days of holiday rewards, each one waiting in the app for you to unwrap. Every day brings a new way to play, so keep checking in to see what drops next. And it all leads to the Christmas Day Special, where you can get something extra special. 7 days of gifts, one big finale. Your holiday football just got a whole lot brighter? Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on the holiday spirit. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Men, it's the holidays, the season of all kinds of hustle and bustle. But if your energy is down, if you aren't sleeping well, if your sex drive is MIA and you just don't feel like the guy you once were, maybe it's tough to get excited for all the holiday cheer. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if this sounds like you may have low testosterone. And if so, this is the season for you to get treated. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating low T. If you're like most guys, you'll feel the change in just a few weeks. And truly, the results can be life-changing. You'll have improved mental clarity, your energy will kick up, your workouts will be better, your sleep patterns will improve, and your sex drive will likely heat up as well. So call us, and don't go through another season with low T. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hellsberg Gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, it's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Are you looking for a new job where you can have tons of fun and make great money? Twin Peaks is the team for you. We're looking for Twin Peaks girls, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Text WORK, the number 4, TP to 85000 to apply today.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Belden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R. If you've been diagnosed with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, this is what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Imagine being a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. In clinical trials, at least 70% of patients saw at least 90% clearer skin at 16 weeks. Results may vary. Tremfya is also indicated for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Call 1-800-526-7736 or visit tremfya.com.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
I was feeling the same way. After 40, the body has less testosterone, and men lose their edge. That's why I take Nugenix Total T2.
That's the testosterone booster, right?
Yes, but Total T2 is their brand new formula that skyrockets nitric oxide levels in as little as 3 hours. Since I started taking it, I've been lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. My energy is way up, and it even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles?
Yep, just send a text.
Text METER to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T2, the next generation testosterone booster. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, our newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text METER to 42424. That's METER to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFMC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew is on his way to Topeka. It turns out some big stuff, might be happening today. So we've got the boss producing and board hopping today. Any and all complaints that you guys have ever, this is your time to voice your concerns on the text line right to the boss.
There's been several already over on the text line.
913-586-7965. Any complaints that you have? This is the first time a lot of you have had direct access to the boss. He's locked in on the text line the entire show. He's not busy with anything else.
Can we just have him read a bunch of them like mean tweets?
Yeah, later on we can.
A Jimmy
for
Kimmel
sure.
show. Just have you read 15 of them?
Yeah, any complaints, direct them right toward him. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 15 minutes or so. One that will probably cause you to change how you feel the next time you go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Yep, I'll leave it at that.
I don't like the sound of that.
Yep, that's coming up during the trash of the day.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Eat your lunch now.
And we also are keeping an eye on what's going on at Topeka at 1 o'clock today. Again, Kansas officials expected to hold an LCC meeting to review the Chiefs Stadium finances, likely to approve a Chiefs Stadium plan in the state of Kansas. The governor, Laura Kelly, expected to host a special announcement at 3 o'clock. And then, of course, there will be plenty of reaction to follow, I'm sure, on the Missouri side as well. And, of course, you want to stay tuned to 96.5 The Fan throughout the day. I know CDOT and Rob during the drive will have that press conference live this afternoon as well. So you're home for Chiefs football, and certainly you're home for the stadium conversation today, one of the more historic days in Kansas City history, frankly, if, in fact, what we all expect to happen happens, which is the Chiefs moving to the state of Kansas. But briefly, I'll move aside from that and get into an impact in that the division might feel based off of coaching rumors that were coming out yesterday from Mike Garafolo, which is he was going through multiple coaches that may or may not be on the hot seat, including one in the AFC West, and that's Pete Carroll with the Raiders. It's year one for him, and everybody thought, and we were wrong, we all thought that he would raise the floor of the Raiders organization, at least get them to some sense of respectability. And for a variety of reasons, that just has not happen. They might have the number one overall pick in the draft.
It's gone the opposite direction. They spent money and draft picks bringing in a quarterback and a coach so that they could stabilize their franchise, and they're just as bad as when it was Aiden O'Connell and no-name quarterbacks and stuff. So whole nother problem to go with it, and that part of the issue is still existing. So we got to see whether or not they can actually get into this thing, because it's a completely different issue.
Mike Garafolo said Pete Carroll's future is in doubt. No kidding. I mean, he already got rid of his offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly, which turned out to be a complete disaster of a hire. The offensive line is a mess, and that's not all his fault, but he brought in his guy, Geno Smith. He was going to bring this veteran presence. They drafted Ashton Genty, who this past week, I think even in a losing effort, we saw some signs of why they drafted him, but he just hasn't had much room to run, and so there's worry about what his future is going to be. I would not be surprised one bit if Pete Carroll gets fired, and frankly, he should. I don't know if they'll do it after 1 year, but they really should. They're not any better. They're going to have a top pick again. Pete Carroll's not a long-term answer anyway, so what's the benefit? You're going to draft a quarterback probably.
And then let him ruin him for a year, and then bring in another coach, fire him halfway through the year like every other team's been doing for the last decade?
Yeah, I don't think there's much of a reason to keep Pete Carroll, other than maybe if your ownership there in Vegas. Remember, Tom Brady's part of that ownership group, unless they don't want to spend the money to wipe out another contract of coach that they're going to have to pay while also paying another coach. Then Mike Garafolo said Zach Taylor in Cincinnati will return in 2026, which
how?
I'm so happy.
I mean, great.
Great news.
But also, seriously, how? Can somebody other than,
his quarterback got hurt. That'll be their excuse. That's why the season got derailed.
It's even less complicated than that. Do you know why Zach Taylor will be back next year? It is because this team is so cheap, Gold, that they would rather pay him to be a bad coach than have to pay him out and hire a new one. That's it. I mean, it's fairly simple. It is that they would rather pay Zach Taylor and write out his contract than have to pay him out and go find a new head coach, because there is, other than he took him to a Super Bowl once, which I guess is a borderline miracle, there is zero reason to keep Zach Taylor as your head coach. I mean, look at the stats, man. The guy had 1 good year. 2 good years, I guess. He took him to the AFC title game twice. 2 good years as their head coach, and other than that, they just keep missing the playoffs. And yes, they do have a hurt quarterback half the time, but they fall apart every time it happens. I can't believe he'd be back. So you're telling me that Pete Carroll's future is at least a little in doubt.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Taylor's for sure. And then the Giants?
Their
'Cause
top
that's the other big
target
one.
in college, according to Garofolo, is Marcus Freeman. Well, no kidding. If they're going to go the college route, who else would you? I mean, I guess Lincoln Riley. Otherwise, yeah.
I think Freeman's going to get a job because there's not a bunch of hot coordinator names.
Does he want to leave Notre Dame, though? Why, honestly, like this is
For an
what we
NFL
don't
job,
know.
I would. I wouldn't leave for another college job, but I'd leave for the NFL.
That's the weird thing about the coaching cycle this year. You know, I was talking with some friends this weekend about it. If you go through and predict the jobs, we know Tennessee is opened up already. We have a good sense that perhaps Arizona might open up as well. You know, there are rumblings about Cincinnati now. That doesn't look like it's going to happen. We know the Giants already have an opening. And so you go through, and even if you want to lay out the scenario where Sean McDermott loses in the wild card round and would they move on from him, who are you going to hire, though? There is not as many of the hot up-and-coming OC names as we've had in the past. You got Jesse Minter. He's a defensive mind. He's out in L.A. with the Chargers that a lot of people believe he'll get a head coaching gig. Okay, so maybe it's him. Unless you're going to go and sign, and hire Cliff Kingsbury away from the OC gig that he has in D.C., is he the hot OC name right now? There doesn't seem to be the same momentum for those names as a year ago, where you had Ben Johnson, for example, which was clearly the number one name that everybody was trying to target. So there might be some coaches that keep their job just because it doesn't feel like there's really great option out there.
Mike McCarthy going to get a
I think he's
job
going to coach
again?
the Giants. That's my prediction for a couple weeks.
Okay, so rather than Marcus Freeman, you think it'll be that?
I think Mike McCarthy will be the head coach of the Giants.
I think the
next year.
Giants need to draft a quarterback again. I don't think Jackson Dart's the answer.
I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that.
I'm not sure he's the answer.
I'm not definitive either, but I don't know.
Like, it's just, there's an issue there with him and quarterback and all this other stuff, and I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work itself out. I don't disagree with you in the some coaches might keep their job. Look, Sean McDermott, he's stuck in a weird spot because I still don't like their team very much. I think their defense is going to get really fried by somebody in a postseason run, and they're going to have to play from the 6th seed right now. So at the moment, they'd have to travel to Jacksonville, which is a lot harder than it looked a month ago when they hadn't won 7 of 8 games, and Trevor Lawrence all of a sudden is playing like a top 10 quarterback every week. Because I've watched a lot of Trevor Lawrence play football. This is the best he has looked by a mile. He looks way better than he's ever looked at any point of his NFL career. So credit to Liam Cohen, who actually has Trevor Lawrence playing some high-level football for the first time in his NFL career. So at least they got that going for him.
Trevor's playing really, really well.
Yeah, and you know that I don't say that lightly.
You're a bit of a Trevor Lawrence hater.
Absolutely.
To say the least.
Unapologetically up to this point. I can't deny over the last 4 to 8 weeks, he's playing high-level football. Now, you got to do it for longer than that in order for me to, convince myself that my opinion, a long-term, now-held opinion, is different. But they are playing the Texans, the Jags, all these teams are playing some good high-level football with their coaches, at least defensively or offensively.
I've decided, this is the spoiled Kansas City Chiefs fan coming out, but if there was a team in the AFC that had to go on a run and win it, I'm convinced myself I actually just want it to be the Jags because I'm not
what
worried.
do I care? Yeah,
it's Jags.
sure.
I don't want it to be Denver. New England, their fans only had to wait 5 years, so I don't want them to just automatically get that bag. This is a selfish thing. The Colts aren't going to even make the playoffs, it looks like, at this point in time. Buffalo, we know the angle there. The Josh Allen narrative will change everything. And do I want to deal with that mess?
No.
Not really. So let the Jags go on the run, Jacksonville. Why don't you go on a run? Nobody's going to actually think you're going to have sustained success, I don't think.
It's legitimately them and the Texans are the only 2 teams I can even see myself cheering for in the AFC. Not Denver, not New England, not Pittsburgh and Aaron Rodgers, no chance. Not Justin Herbert, not the other team in your division.
I actually think it would be pretty funny if the year in which Mahomes and Burrow aren't in it and Lamar
Herbert sneaks through.
No, that Aaron Rodgers at 44, I think he is.
Look,
just goes and runs the table. Not going to happen.
He'd be the third. If I had to do a likability index ranking of the AFC contenders and how much I would root for them to win the Super Bowl, Jags number 1, Texans 2, Steelers 3, Chargers 4. Bills 5, Patriots 6, Denver 7, I think is my exact.
No interest in Aaron Rodgers winning another Super Bowl.
None?
That makes him so unlikable.
He's already unlikable.
That makes him even more unlikable.
He'd be below Denver and New England for you?
He'd be below New England.
No,
I have no problem with Drake May and Mike Vrabel.
I don't have an issue with those two individuals. I have an issue with that fan base, and they had Tom Brady for all these years.
And they were taking all these shots of Mahomes getting hurt and saying
I want nothing good
catch
to
him.
happen to Aaron Rodgers on the way out. Okay. I think that's the worst possible thing.
What if he made it to the Super Bowl and lost? Would that bring you some ultimate joy? The ultimate pain part of it?
No, because then maybe he comes back for another year and we have to get all this suffering for another 12 months.
That's a fair point.
So you don't want, okay, fine.
Nothing good should happen to Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
At all?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, in football.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, someone said Jags Panthers is what they want. Oh, gosh. Bryce Young, Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, that's
Super Bowl.
really, I got to be honest, that's pretty much the dream scenario if you're giving me.
I mean, I get some great odds on that.
Nonsensical Super Bowl matchups that would bring me joy just for like the pure nothingness reason. They came in the league together. Now they face off against each other. We'll get all these Kerry Collins and Mark Brunell highlights before they take each other on, you know?
You could buy Super Bowl tickets for like $70.
Yeah, I could practically just go for free.
Are there enough Carolina Panthers fans and Jags fans to actually occupy that stadium? That's kind of bizarre. I don't know if they can pull that off. Anyway, we'll see how it plays out. We could have that conversation some more a bit later. Before we get to the trash of the day, we had the first round of the college football playoff play out over the weekend. Friday night, I thought Friday night and the first game Saturday were really, really good football games. And the last two, before we dive deeper into it, the last two stunk. They were kind of what we expected. Thought Alabama could probably go on the road and win. They were down 17-0. Ended up being a great comeback. By halftime, felt like they were going to win that game. You had, an early game on Saturday between Miami and A&M, and for a game that didn't have much scoring, I actually thought it was a really entertaining football game. Normally, you're bored with a 3-0 game at halftime. I thought that was a really fun game to watch. And these atmospheres at these college campuses are awesome.
Yeah, why? I mean, what took so long in that one, by the way? We got to be playing out in Pasadena for every single college football playoff game when we could put real football games in home stadiums like NFL playoff games. It's way more fun. Honestly, I wish they'd keep them on site for every game but the championship. But the problem is that college football is such a disparity sport that you can't. I just feel like there's way too big of an advantage of playing at home.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just the money of you've got these tie-ins with the Rose Bowl and the Cotton Bowl and the money that's attached to that, the deals that they already have in place, more than it is just, hey, an advantage that the semifinals in, Columbus, Ohio, and it's a team. But to me, that's the AFC title game. Like, that's just life. That's just how it goes, you know?
Like, some of this is just, I thought one of the games was good. I did not particularly enjoy the Miami-Texas A&M game. You can try to sell me on defense all you want.
I thought it was a really good football game.
It was close. It was kind of like watching Big Ten basketball. I don't find myself really enthralled with 54-50 and being like, what a great basketball game. I'm like, it was a close basketball game, but high level, it was not. The Oklahoma-Alabama game definitely gave me that vibe. Some of this just goes back to the issues with the sport. You can make it 16 teams, 24 teams. There's too large of a disparity in the sport where I fear the next round will still not be all that close for some of these games, just knowing that we run into a talent disparity between them. Look, I felt really bad, honestly, for the Tulane and James Madison because one of these teams over the next couple of years has a really, really, really small opportunity to save the group of five. And if they keep getting their ass kicked, no one's going to save them. If James Madison or Tulane or the next team or two that gets in the group of five next year can just put up one fight, pull one upset, they can save all of the group of five into the college football playoff. But if they can't, they're going to get wiped out. They're going to get wiped out.
You're saying the narrative we all knew was coming happened immediately after the first game where Tulane got blown out. Ole Miss rolled, and then James Madison did as well. They ended up getting the backdoor cover with a 99-yard touchdown drive. Thank you very much in that one. But the games were not competitive.
Sounds like you and Dusty were on the opposite side of that cover, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I got very lucky with the James Madison cover. Very, very lucky. But the narrative was obvious. Coming out of those games, you have Danny Kinnell and these other guys that have been around college football for a while mentioning this is proof, this is why that the group of five should not be in. And I've told you and I disagree on this. Like, do I think the current format acting like that they shouldn't be in? No, I think the way it is currently constructed, they can be in. I think we are still headed, though, in the future to where there's going to be further separation. Heck, we've talked about the Big 12 likely still isn't part of the picture long term, and they're going to have to, shrink into two super conferences. But I do think we get to a point where the group of five will have their own separate tournament or playoff, I should say, and a group of five champion the Group of 5 national champion. And with this, we essentially kind of have it. We just pretend that we don't. We already basically have it. We just let them kind of be part of the party, make them feel like they have a shot, and they don't have a shot. So we can keep pretending for years, or we can just go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, which is, I think, what needs to happen.
But it's just like, some of this is just like, it's like classist in the worst way. Be like, we can have Notre Dame. I'm like, yeah, I understand. And I understand Notre Dame will put up a better fight than James Madison. I do on its premise understand that. But it's like, what do we even, then just separate the sports.
That's what I'm saying.
Then they're
I'm
just
fine
not
with that.
the same sport.
We're so far removed
because we're
from
just
that.
lying to ourselves that they're a part of the same system.
No, that's what I'm saying. I would love to go back to where everything was 15 years ago. There's no going back to that. So with where we are currently at in college athletics, I do think they just need to separate. It sucks. We will not, going way back, obviously, Oklahoma, Boise State, Fiesta Bowl, and all that. Like, those moments are just not going to happen ever again in college sports, even if you let them be part of the party. I just don't believe it, man.
It might not be, look, in fairness, it might not be Boise. It might not be like James Madison or Tulane. I still think there's a little bit of life because college football, to me, is closer today than it was 5 years ago amongst all the teams.
Amongst the Power 4 schools, I agree. The lower level power, but not the Group of 5. I think the gap
is it
there.
The money? You think that gap's widened?
Absolutely. Because you're right in the Indiana and what they're doing.
I just don't think we've gotten the right Group of 5 schools the last couple of years because it's once every 10 years anyway. It was never often that the Boise States of the world got Oklahoma.
I just think the NIL has leveled the playing field for other Power 4 schools. It's why Indiana, one of the reasons why Indiana is in the position that they are in. The lower level Power 4s have a better chance now. If you got people that want to also throw a ton of money, look at Texas Tech. They were not a high level Power 4 until this year, but they got $20 million in NIL. Roster turns over, and here they are. They got a legit chance, although their path is brutal, to go win a national title. I think the gap in Power 4 has shrunk, which is good news for the K-States and the KUs of the world.
Further from the Group of 5.
But the Group of 5s, your Boise State, your pick whoever you want, that gap is further than maybe it's ever been. And it's a shame. It's just, I think it's at this point inevitable with what we've allowed to have happen with college athletics. So we'll get into the rest of the CFP stuff maybe more tomorrow in the past, including how about Alabama and Indiana next round? That's awesome.
That's fun.
But let's get to the trash of the day.
Trash of the day.
All right, so I teased going to the bathroom for this one and how you might take an extra peek at the toilet. And you're like, what are you talking about? Yeah, just bear with me here, all right?
This seems like it's getting weird in a hurry.
Well, the state of Washington, health officials are warning residents that due to heavy rain and floodwater, you could have rats in your toilet. Yeah. So the heavy rain and floodwaters might sweep the rodents into the sewer system. And they said if a rat visits your toilet, take a deep breath, follow these tips. And their tips are try to stay calm. They might not be easy under the circumstances. Close the lid and flush. And then it goes step by step.
I'm supposed to flush the rat down?
Yes. What else are you going to do? You going to reach in there and grab the rat?
No.
So I'm just saying, if you're in Washington State, you're going to have to take an extra peek before you sit down on the toilet.
God, could you imagine every time you go to the bathroom, you're worried that there's a rat in there? And also, what are the odds you don't look one of the times and the rat's in there? That's the worst case scenario.
How about all the steps?
Because that's a hard habit to break.
It says if you close the lid and you flush and the rat's still there, then they said, all right, shut the bathroom door, run to the kitchen, get a bottle of dish soap, put the dish soap in the toilet. The dish soap will cause the rat to slide through and slide out of down the toilet. Back to the sewer goes the rat. This is from the Seattle and King County Public Health Department. This is not a fake story.
I see
now
the
you know.
graphics they have for
if there's a snake or a rat in your toilet, just get some Dawn dish soap.
Have you ever had to catch a wild animal of any kind?
What do you think?
That's a
What
no.
do you think?
I don't know. I had to catch a bat a couple of times and a possum once because my
Cody,
dog was shaking it.
I went face to face with a skunk once when I was a kid. Garage door. I think my dad must have been coming home from work. It was fairly late at night. This was many, many years ago. And skunk. I opened the door thinking I was opening the door to see my dad. And I'm like 8 years old, I think, at this time. Open the door right there in the garage, face to face with a skunk. I just closed the door. And I don't know how they ended up getting rid of it. I did not get sprayed, thank goodness.
You just closed it?
And I don't know if my dad ran it out of the. I don't know how it ended to this day, but it was gone. Nobody got sprayed.
Oh man,
that's the closest I guess I came face to face with potentially catching anything.
And you didn't come close at all.
No.
Just close the door. Specs a homeowner. I know he's had to deal with some sort of animal at some point.
Bats.
Bats?
Yeah.
Bats?
Oh, yeah.
A couple of times with
So how
bats.
do you catch a bat? What do you do?
I mean, I called wildlife. I didn't do it.
I've no chance.
See, that's what I'm calling critter control.
I've caught one bat in a house, and I've caught 2 bats in a restaurant. So I've caught 3 bats in my life.
I've swept some birds out with a broom, but I didn't have to
Oh,
physically
man. The last time
touch them.
The last time a bird got in my house, I opened my laundry room door, which leads to the back door, to let the dog out. And a bird somehow got in the house, and we didn't know it. And it hit me in the neck. And I was like, what just happened? And then it was flying in the house, and then the dog murdered it before I even caught it.
Wait, the dog got a hold of it?
Oh, yeah. Long before I ever got anywhere.
You know,
close.
I had the bird that flew from the patio. Now, it was brief. I have video of it.
The bird that was in your house, yeah.
Yeah, my
your
apartment. I had the patio door open. It was a beautiful day, and a bird just started flying around my apartment. And I don't know, I just kind of yelled, and then, it flew away. And that's it. That's it.
Can you recreate that yell?
No, not today. Not today. There's video without the yelling. I tweeted out the video of the bird flying, but there was no yelling.
Probably
included in the video. That is the trash of the day. Up next, Chiefs Red Half Hour. We'll get back into the stadium discussion, what's expected to happen later on today, including what sounded like a lot of desperation from the interim Jackson County Commissioner on Friday.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
'Tis the season to be boosting on FanDuel, because this year you're getting 7 straight days of holiday rewards, each one waiting in the app for you to unwrap. Every day brings a new way to play, so keep checking in to see what drops next. And it all leads to the Christmas Day special, where you can get something extra special. 7 days of gifts, one big finale. Your holiday football just got a whole lot brighter? Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on the holiday spirit. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here to tell you Rob Sight Ford is closing in on a record-setting year, and they're doing whatever it takes to get there.
That's right, Kevin. We're pulling out all the stops to finish the year strong. 0% for up to 66 months on most Ford models, including F-150s, Escapes, Explorers, Super Duties, and Transits. Top dollar trade-ins and pricing other dealers won't match.
If you've been waiting for the moment to buy, this is it. We've got the vehicles. We've got the deals. We just need one thing, you behind the wheel.
Impeccable rhyme, Kevin. But hey, this is simple, upfront, and easy, and it all ends January 5th.
Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and voted best car dealership in Kansas City by Kansas City Magazine. And now, we're going for the finish line. Rob Sight Ford. Buy right with Rob Sight.
135th and State Line or ROBSIGHT.com. You want inventory, you want price, you want more for your trade. Let's make it happen.
End the year in a Ford before this event drives off.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit MainStreetCU.org to get started.
Hi, I'm Lexi, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. We'll help you find last-minute gifts that don't look last-minute, even if you're still planning to propose. At Shane Company, we'll show you perfect gifts at perfect prices, in stock and ready to give. Like hand-matched diamond studs, 14-karat gold chains, or the ultimate gift, a beautiful engagement ring. We have longer store hours, so you can skip the crowds and shop when you want, or visit us at shaneco.com. Because a friend wants you to be a holiday hero. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Bronius Professional Welding Equipment, service and repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
Dane Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Hey, it's Brian Baldwin here. Makita knows that pros never settle. Get tools that perform at the highest level on every job without compromise. When you shop Makita at the Home Depot, these tools don't just meet expectations, they redefine them. Makita is for the most detailed pros, expertly designed to deliver precision job after job. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita. Makita, built to be the best, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
And we're out. Back in 60.
Hey, what are you eating?
Chimichurri filet mignon. It's a Factor meal.
Oh, nice. Wait, they let you eat like that in the pros?
Oh, they insist on it. A pro's work starts on the plate.
Oh, man, that does look good. Let me have a taste?
Get your own.
All right. Where do I find this? Is it factormeals.com?
Yep, and they've got a deal going on.
Oh, love a deal. I am so in.
Smart move. Pro move.
All right. Factor. Eat like a pro.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ethos.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Chiefs coverage this past hour has been brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside rescues thousands of animals each year. Your gift today provides a complete circle of life-saving care they need to heal and find loving homes. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaves.org to make your life-saving gift today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour, and a lot of the focus, of course, today in the Kansas City sports world is all centered around what is going to take place in Topeka today, or the expectation of what will take place in Topeka. And that, of course, is finalizing a stadium plan and the financing to get the Chiefs across the state line from Missouri to Kansas at 1 o'clock today. There's an LCC meeting in the nation's capital, in the state capital, to review that.
Be a little overboard for a state-related issue.
And then, the only thing that might keep this from happening is somehow that there's involvement at the national level. I don't know. At 3 o'clock this afternoon, Governor Laura Kelly is going to host a special announcement. And then sometime after that, the thought is that even on the Missouri side, KC Mayor Lucas will possibly hold a news conference to react to what we expect to be the news that the Chiefs, for the first time ever, are leaving the state of Missouri.
And that Mayor Lucas will speak about probably losing those teams, or at least the team that would be announced today at 4 o'clock. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And, look, I've told you, I think it's the vocal minority of the, in your face. I live in Missouri, and the teams are in Missouri, and you're in Kansas, loser. And the vice versa that it's happening now is the vocal minority of the people who are like, got them from you. This comes down to a couple different things. I do not think it's just like the voters of Jackson County's fault. Now, they had a chance to vote, and they were going to have to overlook very serious flaws in the proposal put in front of them in order to retain the teams. The bigger shock to me on the Jackson County is they had a vote, and they had an opportunity to try to retain the Chiefs and the Royals, and now Phil Lavoda and some other people are making, Mayor Lucas are making these last-second declarations that it's not over yet, nothing's official, and we're still in this thing, and sending letters to the Chiefs in the last-ditch effort to retain him. You had this whole time, it has been over 18 months since it got voted down. You had more than enough, Jackson County it is, and the state of Missouri, more than enough opportunity to retain the Chiefs had you made, I'm not a stronger effort, but pushed things faster than you did. You can't just wait till the end when it appears Kansas is getting ready to get the teams and then try to save face. It's too late. They're going to blame the Chiefs, and that's what Kansas would do too, to your point. But it's it obviously all the momentum's going this way, and at 1 or 3 o'clock we'll find out. I hope a lot of the details. I wonder if it'll still be kind of guarded and protected in the sense that the Chiefs will make their own announcement with here's the stadium. This is what it's going to look like, versus today might just be they're coming to Kansas. We'll tell you all the rest later.
Yeah, there's a chance that's what it is. We'll find out later. I think as time goes on, we'll continue to get even more details of what happened behind the scenes. But one, I think there's a real possibility deep down that when you heard Mark Donovan on the night the vote failed, I was there. It was an event that they had hosted at Rieger, actually. And it was a watch party for the Chiefs and the Royals, basically, for that ballot measure. And when it failed, John Sherman spoke. Also, Mark Donovan spoke. Clark Hunt was not there, by the way. And Mark Donovan was the only Chiefs representative there. And he spoke, and he said, nothing, out of the ordinary, but he said, we are now going to do what is best for our fans and for the Chiefs as an organization. Now, we can debate whether or not this is the best move for fans or not, but I don't think there's much to debate, frankly, on is this the best business decision for them? I think it's extremely hard to argue that moving to Kansas is not the best business decision. Not only because of the Star Bond proposal, the fact you don't need a public vote, so you know you're not going to have any embarrassment possibly of failing again. And we all know a new stadium allows you far more revenue opportunities. It is deep down over anything, it's a business. And so from the business side, I think they are doing what is best. The fan thing, we're going to find out as time goes on, and we will debate that for a while, right? Whether or not it is truly best for their fans.
In the immediate, I think it's not. In the long term, it might be.
We'll see, yeah. And in that part, we'll have to play out. Business-wise, I think it absolutely is the correct decision for them when it comes to that. As far as why it failed, and you laid out a couple of the reasons and everything like that, I think we cannot forget that while you have an interim Jackson County commissioner now in Phil Lavoda, who's doing everything possible, of course, to try to save this thing. He jumped in September, guys, or August or whatever it was when he took over. Frank White is still to me, at the top of the list of
very high.
individuals. It's not all on him, but at the top of the list of how it got to this point in time, the communication, lack of transparency, intentional, sometimes maybe at times, of not communicating. And then on top of it, much harder to pass the public vote when you had the property tax mess mixed in.
Other big problems.
So I think, Mayor Quinn Lucas is going to take a lot of the blame as well. I know he's an easy target. I don't think he's at the top of the list, though, of individuals why this, in fact, did not go through. And then there's the reality. The Chiefs, when it's all said and done, maybe they just wanted a new stadium in Kansas anyway, Cody.
I'll be honest. You will, and they can say whatever they want, you will never be able to convince me that the Chiefs didn't half-ass their plan and just thought they'd get rubber stamped. Like, they were fine to get they weren't anti-total renovation. They just thought they shouldn't have to work for it. They were like, well, if we want to keep Arrowhead and you want to keep Arrowhead, you should just be fine with the very few things we're doing for what seems like a ton of money. Because the value to renovation at Arrowhead you were getting was bad. You were getting, as a 99% of every fan, you weren't getting jack. You were getting a concrete walkway and a canopy and some turf. Yeah. Where Kaufman used to be.
A concert space or something.
Yeah. And you weren't getting much. You were getting very, very little. And look, I thought the Chiefs hurt the vote. And I said this at the time, and I stand by this. Yep. When it comes down to the vote, and I know people think the Chiefs hurt the vote way more than the Royals ever did. Royals hurt it because the last-second stadium location shift certainly had a dent in it.
And that's something that Mayor Lucas has to own. I'm sorry.
Yes.
That came from, that was a big push from his side of things.
And Cornish, whoever else decided to get him out of the East Village site. Had they stayed at the East Village site, I actually think the Royals have been a very small part of the eventual fail of the problem. The Chiefs did nothing to help, said nothing, barely seemed like they even were recruiting to try to get you to vote for it, slapped some bad plan together, and then eventually ended up getting the new stadium, it appears. We'll find out later today. But the changing of the sites really hurt. The Royals' messaging, I didn't think, was very good and all that stuff, and the communication end of it was pretty bad there too. And so, all of those things, it was more than one thing.
Of course, it always is.
All fall apart,
it always is, and I think it's pretty evident with what's going on, even with the Chicago Bears and some of the struggles they're having with trying to find the right spot with public financing to get a new stadium. It's why you've heard Indiana come into play all of a sudden for the Bears because they're struggling in the state of Illinois. More than ever, it is difficult to get support behind public financed projects, especially when we're talking about billionaire owners. Yeah. And so, on the Kansas side, you don't need a public vote. And so, I think you alleviate the risk of getting embarrassed again, Cody. I think it's a huge part of this decision as well.
It's going to be, I think, the toughest thing in this announcement. If it goes the way we think it's going to go today at 1 o'clock and then 3 o'clock for the actual special announcement. The toughest storyline to sell is going to be Clark and legacy. He has spent decades, his entire life, talking about how much he cares about his family's legacy, the legacy of the Hunts, the legacy of the Chiefs, what it means to him, what it meant to him growing up. His father, Lamar, all of it has been a huge ingrained part of the image that family and he presents. And that the toughest sell will be, tear it down. That part will be a tough sell for the fans. It really will be. That'll be the hardest thing to convince fans that you care about that while letting go of one of maybe 3 or 4 historic stadiums in all of the NFL. There aren't many.
Yeah.
It's pretty much, now it's even less if Arrowhead eventually goes away. He'll have to explain that in a way that makes sense to fans to convince them. And I think it'll just take time will heal all wounds thing because I don't think he'll be able to convince them today.
Right. There's going to be a lot of people that are not happy with the decision. There's going to be a lot of people, though, as we always talk about with our audience, right? There's a good chunk of you listening today that are furious, that don't get it, that feels like they're betraying you. There's a huge chunk of the audience that's very excited today as well. I think that's what's kind of, I think nice with our setup on our show. You're on the Missouri side, I'm on the Kansas side. I think we have both perspectives on this. I told you I'm excited for today. I would totally get if somebody on the Missouri side is not, duh. So that's kind of where I'm at and where I think a lot of people are at today. I will say what you mentioned about the legacy aspect of it. That is one of the things I'm really interested to hear when he's asked today, Clark Hunt, about
very
that.
Much.
Now, as I told you earlier, I think there is another way to explain it beyond just the stadium, right? It's still the franchise his dad brought from Dallas to Kansas City. And the team is staying in Kansas City. And there's a chance with a new stadium that you can host a Super Bowl. And guess who named the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl, his dad. Yep. I think there is an element of that. You have a chance to bring an event your dad named to your stadium. I think that is something that you'll probably lean on if you're the Hunt family a little bit. And certainly that is one of the bigger reasons why I think you make the jump as well to the state of Kansas, because they can offer you a brand new stadium versus a renovated open-air Arrowhead in Missouri was never going to have a chance.
Did anybody else read that? Phil Lavoda, who's on the city council, he had sent a letter.
Or
Jackson County executive. Sorry.
Yeah.
He replaced Frank White when all that stuff went down. So Phil Lavoda sent a letter. Did anybody else read that as like, I'm assuming we all had some friends in early high school and stuff, trying to like write a note after like a boy and a girl broke up when they were like 13 years old, 14 years old, and it just reeked of desperation because you're like, oh man, was I not supposed to break up with that girl? Was I not supposed to break up with him? And they just send like a sad letter. Because this letter, I mean, he can point out all the economic stuff. Sending a letter is not going to convince the Chiefs at this point to change their mind.
As I said, I think they're just setting the table of we tried.
We had a better deal, and they didn't take it.
Our deal was great. These are all the financial elements to it, and they said, no, it's not our fault, basically. This is the political spin. And as I said, I don't even really blame Phil Lavoda. The guy's been in this position for a couple months. I think, actually, if you told me he was in place 12-plus months ago, maybe we're having a completely different conversation today, as in not one, about Kansas. Like I think he actually has tried to do perhaps what Frank White was not even willing to try to do before. But I'll play a snippet of it. You alluded to the letter, but this was on Friday. Phil Lavoda had a press conference there at Jackson County Courthouse, and you could sense, I think, a little desperation.
But I'm here to talk about keeping the Chiefs in Jackson County and improving Arrowhead and the plan all of my partners and I have. And I'm here today because the state of Kansas is making noise. And depending on which media outlet you listen to, the deal's already done. Well, it's not. I've had weekly conversations with Mark Donovan, the Chiefs. We talked yesterday, we talked today, and he has told me there is no done deal. We all know the Kansas Star bonds are expiring, and Kansas politicians are pressuring the Chiefs. And some folks running for governor on the other state of the line are making some points for the campaign. But there's no deal that's done. And there's no deal that's done with Jackson County either. And I've had conversations with the Chiefs that I understand that. But I don't concern myself with that, because even if the Star bonds over there can help build the stadium, there's no funding to maintain it. And I don't think the Kansas people have an appetite to raise their taxes. If you see what happened at 119th and Knoll, they don't want the Royals over there. So I don't think it'd be different with having the Chiefs Stadium over there. So I'll tell you what, Kansas has some lofty ideas, but no plan. Missouri does. We have a plan, and it is in Jackson County, Missouri. It's renovating Arrowhead to a state-of-the-art facility while saving the history. Arrowhead is the home of Chiefs Kingdom.
So that was Phil Lavoda. Look, I've never met the guy, never talked to him. And by all accounts, based on the property tax mess and he inherited, it seems like he's actually doing a hell of a job trying to get stuff corrected. Too little, too late, though. Yeah. It sounded like, I mean, to also say they don't have a plan. I mean, they're about to announce today, clearly they have a plan. They're about to announce the finalized deal to move to Kansas today, barring something completely out of nowhere happening in the next 3-4 hours.
It's also comping in one Leawood mayor and some HOA presidents not wanting the Royals and saying, well, they don't even want the Chiefs. You're like, I don't think that's the same, dude. Again, it all feels very desperate and last minute and all this other stuff. And by all accounts, it's just going to go the other way. Like, it is what it is. And here's the thing about, like, this is what's so tough about it. Not only are they going to steal your team, Kansas, because they're going to take it from Missouri. They're also, like, I think they're just going to take the Arrowhead name with them. So you're like, Arrowhead is Kansas City. I think they're just going to call it New Arrowhead.
Yeah, I have no idea what they're going to do there. We'll see. That'll be interesting. Yeah, you and I talked about that on Friday. I have no idea. My guess is it's just going to have a huge naming rights partner on it, so it might just be a completely different name. I have no idea what they're going to try to keep in regards to that.
Maybe we'll find out today.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, and this is, as I said, there's a huge chunk of the audience that's upset, and there's a huge chunk of the audience that's excited. But The one part we have to get past, I'm sorry, because it just is inaccurate. This idea, someone said, Gold, why do you keep saying that they're staying in Kansas City? They're moving from one state to another. Look at a map. It's still Kansas City. That would be they're in the Kansas City metro area. They're not leaving Kansas City. We can disagree on whether it's a good decision, bad decision, who's to blame, who screwed over the other, who's stealing, all that. They are staying in Kansas City. Fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
Yeah, I don't think that's Kansas City. Technically, they would be still in Kansas City, by the way, just Kansas City, Kansas. But
from the 816, you guys are going to sound dumb. They aren't moving to Kansas. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
That would be a shocker.
Okay.
I was even hypothesizing out there. I don't know what kind of nuclear event would have to take place in order for this to blow up at 1 or 3 o'clock today. But it feels like it has to be pretty substantial.
I get it. A lot of stuff has happened up and down with this stadium saga for years. So I get it. We've had reports 2 years ago that this was close or not. So I get being skeptical months and months ago. Time to wake up and understand what's about to happen today, though. This denial part that's still happening when the governor of Kansas is not scheduling a press conference today if it's not about to be a done deal. You think the governor's not going to embarrass? She's not going to embarrass herself. Schedule a press conference.
They have a meeting in an hour.
I've seen the dang invite that went out to other people yesterday. There was an RSVP deadline yesterday at noon. People that were invited, big business leaders, et cetera, in the state of Kansas, were sent an email invite from Laura Kelly's office to certain individuals across the state with an RSVP deadline yesterday at noon. You think that email goes out if it's not about to be a done deal?
No.
So you're in denial if you're still sitting here hours before the press conference and this meeting in Topeka, which seems like more of a formality than anything else.
Yeah, it does. At this point, it absolutely does. So we'll see more. Coming up at 1 o'clock, obviously that meeting will start. We'll keep an ear out for it, if anything, because those meetings can sometimes be public. Depends on if they decide to go closed session. But then at 3 o'clock, obviously, she'll speak, and they'll carry that over on the drive. I was thinking more about the game on Sunday, which was obviously a miserable experience yesterday. None of us, and you and I were both. I was at Dave & Buster's. You were just at a local bar. Just hanging out watching games the way we don't typically watch games, knowing that there was less on the line than there ever has been. More reporting over the weekend seemed to indicate there's a lot of ways for them to separate themselves from Matt Nagy. One being, and I had forgotten about this, he did not sign an extension. And the more and more you and I talk about Matt Nagy, not just the get him out, I don't like his offense, whatever portion of it you think doesn't exist, this is better for both of them. Gold, this is in the best interest of both parties. That Matt Nagy no longer becomes the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs, and that he doesn't have to be the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs. Because this season's ending poorly enough and uninteresting enough that you and I want fresh voices, not because it's like Nagy's the problem, but because I need somebody else trying to convince Andy Reid to do some different things, but also so Matt Nagy can get out of the shadow again and actually be believed that he's a part of fixing an offense or being a part of an offense instead of the other side. It feels like it's a best for both parties situation at this point. There'll be a bunch of offensive coordinator jobs available. He might have a shot at the Tennessee job or some other head coaching opportunity. It just feels best to go your other way. Go away from each other and figure it out separately. That's just what feels like it's in the best interest for everybody.
They need fresh voices in there. We've gone back and forth about, who that might be in the future, and still who's going to listen, in that room though. And that's the bigger issue that I would have with all this. I know Matt Nagy's the easy target, and I don't even disagree that he probably needs to move on, even though I will still say I think a lot of the blame he gets to me is absolutely not warranted. It doesn't mean he's been perfect, but I think what has happened, he's the OC, so I get it, and we all know Andy Reid's not going anywhere, so something has to change. Hence, let's just move on from the OC. But there's also a possibility that some of the things that fans have noticed and issues, whether it's playing younger players, whether it's just scheme, Matt Nagy might have suggestions, might even have brought them to the table, but do you not believe that there's a chance Andy Reid is just not willing to go down that particular path? And if that's the case, then yeah, Matt Nagy, maybe it's better that he moves on for his own good as well. I mean, the idea that whoever the new OC is...
the enemy left, right? He wasn't fired. He just quietly left.
Yeah, but I think unless Andy Reid changes his view on the input that he allows... I don't know if it really matters all that much, Cody. They can hire whoever you think is the best possible offensive coordinator in the game, whoever that is, that guy's not going to be allowed to call plays. So you're probably not getting that guy. This is why the Mike McDaniel stuff is kind of silly. Mike McDaniel, if he got fired from Miami, he's not coming here. He's not calling plays here. Why would Mike McDaniel come to Kansas City?
That part doesn't make sense. Can I give Andy at least the possibility of listening to a new voice now? Because the last time Andy Reid, I think, made a major shift in what he did in the NFL is when it all fell apart in Philly, and he decided to give up being a general manager and gave up some responsibilities he was used to having. And while it hasn't fallen apart in Kansas City, the idea of having this losing season after 3 straight Super Bowls, Patrick Mahomes can't get it together, this has been enough of a shell shock season that if Andy Reid was going to listen to a fresh voice inside the offense, I do think he would do it now. And he has a couple of times in his career, not all the time, a couple of times in his career has made dramatic changes. He did eventually decide, Bieniemy and I don't work together anymore. He did eventually decide, I need a new defensive coordinator and a fresh voice inside of there. So, I don't think it's impossible that him and Nagy just equally decide, better for both of us to go our own ways. And whoever he does bring on offense, he listens to. I don't think that that's crazy. It'll still be Andy Reid's offense. I understand the generic concept of it. But that there could be things that change inside the offense because of a fresh perspective. I do think that could happen.
I hope so. And yeah, someone texted back in and said McDaniel would actually be a good hire.
I agree.
We all agree. I'm just saying, if you're Mike, put yourself in his shoes. If you get fired, why would you come to Kansas City? You're not calling plays. Everybody's going to say it's not your offense.
If Andy let you call plays, then you should come here.
Totally. But
I don't think he's giving that up.
He's given up play. That would be shocking.
That'd be too big. Too big of a prediction for me.
He would just retire before he does that. And honestly, why would, truly, even if I was Andy Reid, I would retire before I gave up play calling. This is all I've done. I've won all these rings. Why the hell am I giving up play calling? I get that mindset if I were Andy Reid. So we'll see how that plays out. But yeah, Matt Nagy's contract was reportedly not extended. He did not agree to a contract extension, so he is a free agent at the end of this year as well. Up next, we will get to what's trending. We'll also get back into what we saw on the field, and boy, oh boy, it reminded us just how miserable football can be.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The year-end sales event is continuing over at Shawnee Mission Ford. I continue to drive the beautiful Ford F-150, and I know we have the warmer weather right now, so maybe you're thinking it's not going to come in handy. But let me tell you, the remote start, the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, all of it makes the drive so comfortable into work each and every morning thanks to Shawnee Mission Ford. And right now, if you go to Shawnee Mission Ford, there's 0% financing on all new 25 Escapes, Explorers, F-150s, Transit vans, and Super Duty. And it doesn't even stop there. You can also get 90 days till your first payment. And now till the end of the year, you'll receive an additional $1,000 rebate. You can still get those large discounts, top trade-in allowances in the Midwest. That's 0% for 60 months, 90 days till your first payment, plus 90 days of Blue Cruise and that $1,000 rebate till the end of the year. Stop into Shawnee Mission Ford. They're on a mission to do more.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. Well, if this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first touchdown scorer wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New and existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back and unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly.
Men, we hear it all the time. A man comes in to get his erectile dysfunction treated, and very soon thereafter, he tells us that his relationship is renewed. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and you should know that ED doesn't just affect you, it also often affects your partner. They can feel undesired, unwanted, they may even feel like you don't love them anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we've successfully treated thousands of men for ED with protocols that have success rates as high as 90%. which means if you're like most men, we can get you back to the guy you used to be. You could even last up to an hour or more and find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and give your partner the gift of renewed love. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. That's heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more.
And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more. And that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning, and you too can be so much more.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
It's holiday cheers time. And Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors is here for it. With 5 locations, a wide selection, great prices, and friendly service. Gomer's Fine Wines and Liquors, family owned and KC proud since 1969.
This season, enjoy stress-free comfort with easy booking and trusted service from Anthony. Save up to $4,500 on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. Schedule today at anthonyphce.com.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew dressing up for a Halloween ball would change my life forever? Now I get to celebrate with the best fans and everything Kansas City. Oh, yeah! My journey also led me to Renner Garage Door, Casey's go-to team for garage door repair, replacement, and service since 1956. Renner features an MVP lineup from Delden, Amar, and Liftmaster.
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R. At Straight Talk, we know the holidays are your time to say
yes.
So why put up with a wireless company that makes you say
out of data?
Or
no service here?
Switch to Straight Talk and say yes to real unlimited data on a reliable 5G network covered by Verizon. And with a free 5G phone when you activate select plans, someone else in your family can say yes! Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Based on RootMetrics State of 5G Report, United States 1H 2025. Experiences may vary. Not an endorsement of Verizon. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
This Christmas, get a bonus AI Essentials course when you enroll in any My Computer Career IT program by the end of the year. That's a $3,900 value. Attend classes online or on campus. Enjoy lifetime job placement support and IT certifications in high demand. Go to mycomputercareer.edu today and take the free career evaluation. That's mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Conditions apply to AI offer and financial aid is available to those who qualify, including the GI Bill.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at TheFan965 for behind-the-scenes videos like MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Best Bets. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ, FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
God dang!
Brought to you by Telly Tire and Auto Centers. Winning starts with a great drive. Since 1942, Telly's certified techs have delivered complete car care with top brand tires and expert auto service. Keep your drive going. Take it to Telly. Visit tellytire.com today.
Number one on what's trending, the expectation is in about an hour from now in the state of Kansas in Topeka, the Kansas officials will hold a meeting to review possible Chiefs Stadium finances. The expectation at this point is that they will approve a Chiefs Stadium finance deal. Governor Laura Kelly hosting a special announcement press conference at 3 o'clock this afternoon. All signs pointing to the Chiefs jumping the state line and heading to the Kansas side with a brand new stadium to be announced.
Next up on What's Trending, Chiefs did drop to the Titans 26-9 yesterday. Chris Oladokun did much of the heavy lifting on offense, so they only acquired 9 points. Also in the Pro Bowl voting in, Travis Kelce currently leads all Pro Bowl voters in getting the most votes. That's not surprising with the Taylor Swift effect. That is, at least as you remember, partially how they determine Pro Bowlers, is through the largest fan vote. He currently leads all fan votes.
Elsewhere,
I don't know why go to the Pro Bowl games. Seems like I just take that time off. I was Travis.
And this year, the Pro Bowl games, remember, the week of the Super Bowl in Santa Clara, they redid that whole thing. KU basketball tonight at Allen Fieldhouse taking on Davidson. Doesn't look like Darren Peterson will play. Also, Missouri, the bragging rights game, taking on Illinois, number 18 Illinois. That one at 7. So a couple local college basketball games. Did you see your Ruse game yesterday got canceled?
Yeah.
Like, they were supposed to play a game against a smaller school. I can't remember the name. And the game got canceled. The bus driver
of the
opposing team died.
Yeah.
So they canceled the game.
Really awful.
Yeah.
And bizarre, obviously, that would take place. But hope, just rest in peace. But yeah, really, really sad news. Next up on What's Trending, Bobby Petrino is set to become the offensive coordinator for Bill Belichick at North Carolina. I guess they both have a thing for women younger than them. What? I'm just pointing out the obvious here. What, they got Geritol sponsoring the stadium? You can't just put, and their GM's like 1 million years old. Do they really think just operating a nursing home for an entire college football program was the solution out of ineptitude? What if we put 70, 80-year-olds together? We'll get this crack squad.
Okay, hold on. Bobby Petrino's 64. Let's not act like you're acting like this guy can't.
You're
acting like he's
chicken.
No, but you're
64.
I mean, the whole situation at UNC.
He gets Social Security next year.
The whole thing at UNC is a mess with the group. You're acting like he's eating applesauce. That's all he's eating all day.
After that motorcycle accident, he probably did have to eat applesauce for a couple days.
For a little while.
For a little bit.
All-time press conference moments. Him in that giant neck brace.
Of course.
Never be able to unsee.
Who knows? Maybe they'll hire Sharon Moore to join the staff, too, while they're at it.
Not old enough.
No. Well, I'm just saying everything else
Other
fits.
interest, yeah.
Everything else fits a little bit there. That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, on Mondays, 30 Hop is our lunch partner. Perfect day to go grab a $5.99 classic burger at either location in Lee Summit or down the street from us in Merriam Grand Station. 30 Hop, your new go-to. It's an American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and heck, the weather might be nice enough later this week. You might be able to hit up the patio as well. Plus an unbeatable happy hour, 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats Big Patio. Head over to 30 Hop for $5.99 classic burgers.
I can't imagine that North Carolina thought this was going to work. How? And this is just sometimes, we talk about this with Reed, and this is a very serious thing where, like, next year's so important for Andy Reid. I think he's a great coach. He's an all-time coach. He's one of the greatest coaches that ever lived. I don't think any of us ever thought the game was going to pass Bill Belichick by, and it did. It did. 5 years ago, it passed him by. Not like recently. Not he just got to North Carolina, he forgot how to coach. As soon as he thought Tom Brady was the reason he could no longer win, which was foolish for a million different reasons, and he wouldn't give up personnel and wouldn't give up anything and thought he could a genius's way out of offensive game planning and defensive game planning. He let the game get past him. He couldn't relate to players anymore. Couldn't design an offense that people couldn't figure out anymore. And 5 years ago, the sport passed him by. This is where the Chiefs have to be smart and careful. Andy Reid is the second oldest coach in the NFL. Is that right? Pete Carroll's the oldest. He's older than him, right?
Pete Carroll would be the oldest. Yeah, Pete Carroll's in his 70s. Andy's 67, I think.
So it's like you gotta keep an eye out on that stuff.
Nobody ever thinks it's going to pass them by, though, right? I mean, that's the thing. We can go through sports history. I mean, heck, we got spec board hopping today since Drew's in Topeka. I mean, Jim Boeheim at Syracuse. I know you're not a Syracuse basketball fan, but just bear with me. You went to Syracuse, all right?
So you're familiar with Jim Boeheim.
Jim Boeheim.
Hate that guy.
Jim Boeheim. He kept he hung on way too long. He never thought the game was passing him by, and he should have been gone 5 to 10 years before he actually was gone. Belichick, same thing. It's honestly something I hope is not happening here. Frank, I don't think it is. It's 1 year of missing the plaplayoffs, so let's pump the brakes with Andy Reid.
Next year, I'm probably going to start saying that.
But it's usually something that nobody is like, oh yeah, I recognize it's happening. I'm stepping away. That's usually, if you're a legendary coach, usually that coach does not say, man, the game is past me. I'm out. Usually it's a couple years after the fact that they realize it. And so with Bill Belichick, the only part I'll give him credit for is everybody thought he was getting fired 3 months ago. And here he is. He's still hanging around, and he's clearly going to be coaching that team next year if they're hiring staff members and everything.
Yeah, that's true. Otherwise, I'd run him out of town. But I mean, he just surrounded himself by Michael Lombardi and now Bobby Petrino. It's like it's such a weird crew over there.
Coming up at 1 o'clock, Nate Taylor from ESPN will join us in studio. We'll talk about the Chiefs' disaster yesterday in Nashville, certainly talk about the stadium with Nate Taylor a little bit later on in the show. Text line wide open, 913-586-7965. Always keeping an eye on that. And we'll continue to get into the stadium conversation, as you can expect. The text line, very divided. People are passionate, which they should be.
Pretty much down the state line.
Yeah, which makes a lot of sense, right? Makes a whole lot of sense overall. I'm just curious when these texts are the ones, and it's probably a minority of people, but I'm honestly curious how many of you feel this way. I think it's easy to say when the stadium is 4 years away, and you don't have to make the decision yet. But someone says, there's no way I will ever root for the Chiefs again when they move to Kansas. Look, I'm not calling you a liar. That might be you. There's no way there's that many people that when push comes to shove, he's not even saying he's not going to go to the stadium. There might be plenty of people that are on the Missouri side that say, I'm never going to buy a ticket there. I actually believe that there's a decent amount of people. The idea you're not going to root for the team that you grew up rooting for, with Patrick Mahomes now and everything, the idea you're just not going to be a fan of that team anymore, I'm sorry. That is wild to me. And this is someone that has crossed the state line going to Chiefs games and Royals games in Missouri my entire life.
I don't root for the teams I root for just because of the physical state that they possess, just as long as
the
that
metro
state
area
is close. So, that's the thing. Because if they up and moved the Royals to Nashville...
Oh, I'm out.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out. You just taking my team away from me? Now, I'm not just becoming a Cardinals fan. I'm not just conceding to teams I've hated my entire life. So, that part's not happening. But, yeah, I'm probably out. You just up and uprooted them states across. If you were a Rams fan and they moved them to L.A., you don't owe your fandom to the Rams anymore. You can choose to stick with them if you want, but you don't owe them. And you and I talked about this, and this is I try not to let this stuff bother me because I still think it's a vocal minority that does the, rub the salt in your wounds part of it, or this, they hate Missouri just because it's Missouri or the state, and they hate Kansas just because it's the state, whatever. And then I view Kansas City as largely, my civic pride is not related to only Kansas City proper. As in, I will only support businesses that are in Kansas City, Missouri. I will only go to businesses that are in Kansas City, Missouri.
I don't believe that 90% of Chiefs fans are Norm Stewart, okay? People are acting as if they're that mentality. There are some. I'm not that individual that texted in, that might be true for that person. I just think it's a small fraction when we eventually fast forward 4 years from now or whatever it's going to be that a stadium is done, that you're just, on Sundays, you're just no longer rooting for an NFL team anymore.
Can I, before we get to stock up and stock down, I want to say something about the Chiefs game yesterday, which probably seems obvious in retrospect, but made it, I don't know, even more glaring to me, the real problems the Chiefs have to fix this offseason. I had to watch the Chiefs for the end of the game last week, and it was only a series or whatever, a couple of passes. and Gardner Minshew and Oladokin for this last game. And I have to admit something. I didn't realize just how much Patrick Mahomes hides your problems. I understand great quarterbacks hide problems. I get that. That's part of the job. I did not, however, understand just how much he makes the defense look better. What? They're getting torched by the Tennessee Titans. The lowest third down conversion rate team in the NFL was dicing them up. They were still giving up third and longs. Mahomes he hides every, or has been hiding, every flaw your organization had. I'm going back in my head now and I'm like, you know that 15-2 team last year? What would they have been with the 15th best starting quarterback in the league? And I'm like, I don't know, 9-8 out of the playoffs? I'm starting to think he's good for 5, 6, 7 wins each year over the last 5 or 6 from an average level quarterback play. Not a drop off to Minshew or Oladokin, but just like average NFL starting quarterback play. They might have made the playoffs twice in the last 6 years if they were just getting like the 17th best QB. He has been hiding problems. And you guys have got to look at yourself in the mirror the next 6 months as you head towards the draft and realize all the things he's been covering for your ass this whole time is how I felt the entire time I watched that game.
It was a reminder of, boy, oh boy, like if there's any Chiefs fans that just jumped on here in the last 5 to 7 years, this was what we all watched in 2011, 2012 or so, and many, many years before that, if you're really a longtime Chiefs fan, that how miserable football can be on a Sunday when your team stinks.
Oh,
and
man.
This is why,
So it's like to be a
Jets fan or whatever, right?
Browns.
Yeah, I mean, so that's what that felt like. As far as what you said about Mahomes, yes, he clearly has masked a lot of problems, and that's why, as painful as yesterday was, 1, good for draft pick. 2, I think there's a chance that it being this bad right now, and there's a lot of reasons for it, it makes them more likely as an entire organization, not just the front office, but hopefully the coaching staff as well, to step back and see what you just said, which is, wow, there's a lot of things we have to fix. We don't have to tear it all down to the struts, but at the same time, I think this ending of the year will alleviate the potential of them being able to say, oh, we just had some bad luck along the way. We'll be fine. I think this showing hopefully alleviates that.
I'd say, and the text line said, I forgot what it was like. I really feel bad for Vinny at this point. I feel like we owe him an apology for even having to talk about Jets, having to sit up there and watch those games. If you are, by the way, tracking the Chiefs' current draft pick order, I can tell you the teams you're rooting for to win. Here are the teams you want to win football games the final 2 weeks of the season. New Orleans, who is all of a sudden now only 1 game worse than Kansas City. They have won 3 straight games under Tyler Shuck. They are 5-10. Cincinnati, Gold, is only 1 game worse than Kansas City. Now they have to lose or have to win both of their games because right now their strength of schedule is worse than Kansas City's, but not by much. Oh, actually, they're about the same. I apologize. So some version of that: New Orleans, Cincinnati, Miami, Atlanta, and Dallas. Right now, ESPN puts out their probability odds. Those are really the only picks they think Kansas City has a good chance of getting. Picks 9 through 13. They think it's less than 5% for anything 14 and up, and they think it's less than 5% for anything 8 and up, where those are so out of the ordinary that, Washington would have to win both of their final 2 games and the other teams around them win. It's just not likely that any of those things would occur. New Orleans would have to win both. Cincinnati win both. Miami win both. Like, it is not likely to skyrocket up through the ranks. But those are the teams you want to win: Washington, New Orleans, Cincinnati, Miami, Atlanta, and Dallas. You want them to win as many games as possible down the stretch. Especially because Atlanta's pick actually goes to the Rams. Now, maybe they'd be drafting a quarterback and not taking a player in front of you, but, you'd hate for the Rams to get a pick better than you. Those are the ones, man. You know who you're rooting against. You know who you're rooting for. You just got to figure out which version of it you think you can get over the last. Dallas has lost 3 in a row. Chiefs have lost 4 in a row. The teams around them, the Falcons have won 2 in a row. The New Orleans has won 3 in a row. Cincinnati's coming off their best game of the season. Miami's cooled off and has now lost 2 in a row, including the one to Cincinnati yesterday. But you can't pick worse than 18th because you're not going to be in the playoffs. But the odds now suggest you're most likely to pick between 10 and 12 are the statistically most probability based on spreads, current records, and strength of schedule. You're most likely to pick 10, 11, 12, and then 13 having like a good percentage as well.
All right, let's get to stock up, stock down, stock up. Go to the college ranks for this one. Charlie Weiss Jr. Yeah, he's the
future Kansas head coach.
Yeah,
I want it so bad because it went so bad for Charlie Weiss Sr.
He's going to get a much better job than that, the way things are trending. Well, so he is the OC at Ole Miss, but he's going to be the OC with Lane Kiffin in LSU. Ole Miss, without Lane Kiffin, if you were thinking that it was just a Lane Kiffin offense and he was running the show in regards to that, I think that was brushed aside with what they were able to do in the college football playoff. That offense was just as explosive. They were just as aggressive. I understand you'll say the competition, but there were people questioning whether the offense would look the same. Stock up. That was a big performance for Charlie Weiss Jr. as an offensive coordinator. And yes, he will become a head coach within the next couple of years, especially if he gets LSU's offense rolling.
And if it keeps going well, then he'll have a chance at like a big job. Like he definitely feels like he's young enough too that he could end up in like, it might be a name down the road, Gold, at one of those 10 or 15 best jobs in the country if it continues to go well. My stock up is on my lottery ticket purchase later today. I forgot to purchase any on Saturday, Gold, when it was a little over $1 billion. And that's the only time I become invested. Once it starts getting into that $700, $800, $900 billion range, I mean, there's a drawing tonight, right?
There is.
So I have to go to the gas station tonight just to purchase lottery tickets. Our deal's always the same, right? If we both purchase, then, I pay you, you pay this. Spec, bad news. If I win the lottery tonight, I will not be ever coming back to work is most likely the scenario.
If I win the lottery, you won't see me either.
Yeah, I have been buying.
For me, I'm afraid.
Somebody needs to win soon, though. I've been buying tickets for the last week. Once it got above $1 billion, somebody needs to win so I can stop buying tickets. Because if nobody wins tonight, I'll be buying tickets again Wednesday. It needs somebody win this thing, please.
Even if it's me.
Sure. But I've been buying tickets. I will buy a couple more tonight.
Do you want Drew's hand? Typically, the producer deal is if everyone buys, then we just owe the other person $1 million.
Can you buy tickets for me and I'll just Venmo you?
Oh, like later today?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. You just got to send me a picture of the tickets so there's no lawsuit on our hands.
Yeah, I need you to send me a picture of the tickets too, though, so I know that you bought tickets for our deal to go
through. $1 million. I got to tell Spec which his numbers are. I have to put them on two separate tickets.
Why don't you guys just go in half and half on any of the tickets you buy?
Are you willing to split $350 million?
Then Cody will take responsibility for I bought the tickets technically. I could see a lawsuit coming. Honestly, when we win, obviously.
And the truth is like fighting over that would seem so inconsequential to me. Like, I'll just take the $350. It's fine. Matter of fact, if you just want to guarantee me $3, it's okay. I'll take a haircut.
I do love how we all, when it's $200 million, it's like, not enough for me to buy a lottery ticket. Now it's like, well, it's $1 billion, so now it's worth me spending my $2 on a ticket. But
because the problem is that I can dream even bigger. If I got $750 million in cash, I could legitimately. I'm getting close to like majority owner of Royals territory. Like I could borderline.
Say it right now. You'll keep the Royals in Missouri.
Oh, we're going downtown
with your winning.
Yeah.
Okay, say it right now.
Royals and I are going downtown together.
So cash value is going to be like $600 or $700 million. You're committing $200+ million to keep the Royals in Missouri.
Yep.
You're willing to commit.
Yep.
There you go.
Now I'm going to need that permanent suite, like the Cody Tapp suite or whatever. It's going to be like a library in a university. I'm going to need some stuff named after me. Spec, do you have a stock up?
Yeah, the NFL. Thursday night, game of the year, right? I mean, awesome Rams, Seahawks. As a Rams -1 better, wasn't a game of the year for me, but whatever. Game of the year. Saturday night, Packers, Bears, game of the year. Noon slate, really good games. Then the finish in Detroit and Pittsburgh. Like, the NFL just consistently delivers, and it's week 16, but man, oh man, I know there were a lot of bad games on Sunday, or games that featured two teams that didn't have anything to play for, but the games that mattered this weekend all had fantastic finishes.
Can I say that was an all-time needling from the ref to that crowd on Sunday night?
Oh, it was brutal.
He came on the thing and said, the ruling on the field is a touchdown, but the game's over, you jerks.
And he paused. The ruling on the field is a touchdown. However,
I had so much on the line in that game. Not just that particular not that particular game. I had Steelers over 8.5 wins, which came through. I had Steelers to win the division, which now obviously is like pretty close because of Sunday night. And I had Bears to win the North, and the Lions basically can't win. So that waiting for that call affected 3 bets from August for me. It was a great moment.
It was look, you could argue I had no business being in that position because the way the Steelers were dominating the Lions, but Amon-Ra scored that touchdown, and they took it off the board, of course, with OPI. And then to have that play that you guys were discussing, I had the Lions in the final leg of two parlays, and on a fantasy football end, I had one league with Jared Goff, so that would have been another 6 points. I'm up 10. I would have been up 16 going into tonight. I'm not going to lose. That was a huge swing, a massive swing. Stock down.
Mine is on the group of 5's chances to make the college football playoff going forward. Unfortunately for them, any game they lose is one step out the door to them getting kicked out. Nick Saban went on national TV to say, would you, essentially like what he said is, would you let junior college kids play against professional baseball players? This is a joke. That is the talent difference. He dunked on the group of 5 after their showing in Tulane and James Madison. It's unfortunate because I don't think the underdogs are going to have some big run. And unlike the underdogs we like to root for in college basketball, there is a larger talent discrepancy between the two. But I still like that they're a part of the system. They're a part of the NCAA. I feel like they deserve a seat at the table, even if it's not a big one. I think the mistake this year was, what actually hurt them, Gold, is getting 2. Getting 2 hurt them.
Yeah.
If it was just 1, people would forgive it. But because they got 2 teams, it actively worked against them. They should have just gotten the 1, and then nobody would have said anything.
So stock down for me, you alluded to it last week, I think a little bit with the replay assist. I saw this play out last night in the Ravens game. So there was a call, whether it was a catch or not.
Yeah.
And in the Ravens, I think it was the Ravens, had to challenge it, and they won the challenge, but it was just a catch. One of those where once you saw 5 seconds of the replay, it was clearly a catch, and yet the Ravens had to challenge it. Why wasn't that replay assist? So it's not only that they've gotten it wrong, but when do I have to challenge, and when can replay assist just take over? Like I know there's challenges at times for fumbles as well, but that catch, if 5 seconds in on the replay, everybody at home can see it. Wouldn't that qualify as a replay assist? So I'm confused by the whole thing.
Honestly, it just feels like a system that, in general, I was like, ooh, this must be a system that really works. And now, Gold, I'm getting further and further to be like, is it doing anything different than the challenge system was, other than creating more ref controversy, Gold? Because if you choose not to do replay assist in a moment that it deserved, it's like, well, they don't want to do it for the Chiefs, or they only do it for the Chiefs, or they only do it for this team. It just creates this bubble of animosity that's not needed. So, again, I'm just lower and lower replay the more I get.
That's stock up, stock down here on Cody and Gold. Up next, we'll get back on the field with the Chiefs and the unwillingness to play a couple young players, plus the random question of the day right here on 96.5 The Fan.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
'Tis the season to be boosting on FanDuel, because this year you're getting 7 straight days of holiday rewards, each one waiting in the app for you to unwrap. Every day brings a new way to play, so keep checking in to see what drops next. And it all leads to the Christmas Day special, where you can get something extra special. 7 days of gifts, one big finale. Your holiday football just got a whole lot brighter. Head to FanDuel.com/Alex to get in on the holiday spirit. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
This is Danon Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Dane and Hughes. D.G. Yuengling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Hi, we're the people who have everything.
There's nothing you can get us we don't have.
We have 7 mini vacuums.
And Pearl handled pickleball rackets.
See?
Need a gift for someone who has everything? The Kansas Lottery has you covered with holiday scratch tickets in $1, $2, $5, $10, and $20 options, with instant wins up to $100,000. You could win even more in second chance drawings.
Did he say thousands?
We could always use that.
See kslottery.com for details.
Hi, this is Kevin Harlan, and I'm here to tell you Rob Sight Ford is closing in on a record-setting year, and they're doing whatever it takes to get there.
That's right, Kevin. We're pulling out all the stops to finish the year strong. 0% for up to 66 months on most Ford models, including F-150s, Escapes, Explorers, Super Duties, and Transits. Top dollar trade-ins and pricing other dealers won't match.
If you've been waiting for the moment to buy, this is it. We've got the vehicles. We've got the deals. We just need one thing, you behind the wheel.
Impeccable rhyme, Kevin. But hey, this is simple, upfront, and easy, and it all ends January 5th.
Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, nearly 3,000 reviews, and voted best car dealership in Kansas City by Kansas City Magazine. And now, we're going for the finish line. Rob Sight Ford. Buy right with Rob Sight.
135th and State Line or ROBSIGHT.com. You want inventory, you want price, you want more for your trade. Let's make it happen.
End the year in a Ford before this event drives off.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Are you in need of top quality metal for your next project? Look no further than Metal by the Foot. Whether you're a DIY enthusiast, contractor, or business owner, Metal by the Foot has the perfect solution for you. Steel, aluminum, brass, and stainless. The Foot. Blue Demon Welding Supplies, filler rods, and wire. The Foot. Cronius Professional Welding Equipment, Service and Repairs. The Foot. Located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit BigBlue.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
You like saving money, right? We all do.
That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-941-2255. That's 800-941-2255.
Chiefs coverage this past hour has been brought to you by WaysideWaves.org. Save a life this holiday season.
Wayside rescues thousands of animals each year. Your gift today provides a complete circle of life-saving care they need to heal and find loving homes. Donate today, and your gift will be matched. Visit WaysideWaves.org to make your life-saving gift today.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Thanks for hanging out with us here on a Monday. Hope you're having a good day. Of course, the holiday right around the corner. Appreciate those of you that are watching on video stream as well. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. We're about 25 minutes away from having Nate Taylor stop by from ESPN. We'll talk a lot about the Chiefs, looking ahead a little bit and see if he agrees or disagrees with a little bit of the assessment we had with some of the young players not playing yesterday. And, of course, we will talk stadium as well with Nate Taylor. Again, if you're just joining us, and frankly, I guess at this point in time, if you've been checked out a little bit, the latest is at 1 o'clock today, so less than a half hour from now. There will be a meeting in Topeka, the Kansas State Capitol, for the committee to review the stadium finances, which would lead to a Chiefs stadium on the Kansas side. And then at 3 o'clock, the expectation is that Governor Laura Kelly will host a special announcement, and we can all assume what that will be, and we'll go from there and see what more information we get. Of course, The Drive will have that live later on this afternoon as well. So 96.5 The Fan has you covered on coverage. Bob Fesco is in Topeka today. Drew is out there as well, so be sure to keep an eye on our social media. Bob took a photo of the state capitol, and I responded, and others did. Do you think they have to move the state capitol to build the stadium, because people think the stadium's in Topeka, not KCK? It's in Topeka.
Just got confused.
Yeah.
I had explained to somebody like, why are they doing this meeting in Topeka and like not out in KCK? I'm like, it's the state capitol. It's like, that's where the meeting is. That's where they meet. Like, that's just how it works. But yeah, it all momentum in the world, obviously barreling towards an announcement this afternoon. They would have the Chiefs going to Kansas. Still waiting.
People are asking just fair questions on the text line, 913-586-7965. Can the Chiefs not get a vote by themselves? Are they tied to the Royals? Why not talk about that? A couple things. One, so that's
how it would have gone had they stayed in Jackson County.
Yeah, so once the vote failed last day, or 2 Aprils ago almost at this point in time, when that vote failed, at that time it was obvious they were going to split and negotiate on their own with Jackson County, with Missouri, with Kansas. And so what we're seeing play out today is Kansas negotiated separately with not only Missouri, but clearly Kansas, and they are, barring a complete shock happening in a half hour, they are going to complete a negotiation with Kansas. Missouri still theoretically has a chance to negotiate with the Royals as well. We'll see how that all plays out. The state of Kansas is also negotiating with the Royals. So, yeah, they already are separate. As far as the voting thing, if the Chiefs would not have agreed to a deal today, if they don't agree to a deal today with Kansas, then on the Missouri side, they would have needed a public vote, and it would have been a Chiefs-only ballot measure. You heard earlier in the show, Phil Lavoda, who is the interim Jackson County executive, he spoke last Friday, and his plan, his idea was put it on the ballot, sales tax actually decreases, how he phrased it, and that would have been Chiefs only for renovation. But that they already once that vote failed, they started to negotiate on their own.
The truth is, it seems that both teams are going to probably go to Kansas. Kansas City Chiefs will be announced today. Royals momentum is all heading that direction too. What I would say to Lavoda and Q and these others is, you got to stop putting your energy into these Hail Mary attempts to like break up the wedding at the altar and that they'll change their mind as they're getting ready to say I do. And if you're going to try to convince someone to change their mind, you'd be better served using your energy
on the one
trying
you
to
can
convince
save.
the Royals. Yeah. On the relationship you can actually save. We'll get to the random question today coming up in about 10 minutes. But you had mentioned the Chiefs and playing time. And I got to say, things go bad, seasons go bad, mistakes are made, all that stuff. Not playing the young players yesterday was the most mad I've been at them coaching-wise all season. It's offensive. You're trying to tell me you got 4 snaps for Bassa, 3 snaps for Jalen Royals, 8 snaps for Rashard Smith. That's all you got? That's all you could muster up in this scenario? Not a single carry for Rashard Smith? You just gave him all to Isaiah Pacheco? That's all you could put together on paper to get young players in the game to what? To save what? You can try to win. No one's saying you can't make a game plan, try to effort. No one's saying you can't try to win a football game when you play it. But not playing young players who have a chance in your future to grow means you either think they stink so bad they don't even deserve to be on your 53-man roster, or a complete unwillingness to even give a young player a shot that's tantamount to neglect. It makes no sense. I don't know. I guess I'm out of hope that they'll play Rashard Smith more against the Broncos or whatever on Thursday. It just feels dead to me. The Titans game, late in the Titans game, and half of the Titans game, and that game was going nowhere. They had a million opportunities to play young players. They were playing Mike Edwards and Jack Cochran more than they were playing Jaden Hicks and Bassa. And you cannot tell me that that is servicing the long-term future of this team.
You truly are in a spot where you have nothing to lose by playing. I mean, guy, you're down to your 3rd-string quarterback at this point in time.
Playing
for the rest of the way, there is no harm in giving Brashard Smith some more looks. And this is where, and we'll ask Nate about it at 1 o'clock, the disconnect that for the first time I wonder if really is there from front office to coaching staff with, players you draft and the coaching staff wanting said player, willing to play particular player. I mean, we've been wanting Brashard Smith to get more reps going back to like week 6, if we're being fair. That at that point in time, didn't agree with it, but you at least could argue, well, you're trying to win now. You can't afford rookie mistakes. Okay, but it's week 17 now, soon to be 18, and you still have not increased the snap counts. It doesn't make sense. While Jalen Royals in particular made even less sense, Cody. I know he hasn't played at all. But the 3 snaps, you were down Rashee Rice, down Tyquan Thornton due to concussion protocol.
So there are snaps, and they gave Juju Smith-Schuster the most snaps.
Yeah, I don't know.
89% of the snaps.
That part was it was a miserable day anyway, but that was one of the more frustrating aspects of the game was some of the younger players, there's no reason. There just isn't for them moving forward not to get more snaps.
I think it's a bad coaching decision. Doesn't mean I think Andy Reid is a bad coach or they're a bad organization. That's crazy. They've been to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. They are a very, very, very good, well-run organization pretty much across the board for the last 8 to 10 years. It is a bad decision to not play these players. And unless they are toxic, horrible teammates, and I just don't know that. But you're obviously willing to put Rashard Smith on the field in some capacity. You are willing to play him. He's been playing for you all year. They've been on game day active NFL players. So you don't think they're so bad. They're not getting Keon Coleman inactives. They're not just being told to stay home on Sunday. How can you tell me? Mike Edwards? Mike Edwards? Why is he playing? I don't care how many mistakes you think Jaden Hicks is making. I don't care. I don't care how many mistakes he makes in the game. You are playing for nothing. You have to look at yourself in the mirror and have a real conversation of, we're playing to win the game. Fine. We're not just giving up. Nobody on the team, like Travis Kelce, Trey Smith, I guess Gardner Minshew before, Chris Jones, they're not going to say the Chiefs are giving up on us because you play Jaden Hicks more than Mike Edwards. They're not going to think you've just given up any chance of winning a game. They're going to say a young player deserves a chance, and that's fine. I'm going to play with those guys.
Well, I just watched the result, what just happened against a Tennessee Titans team with a rookie quarterback. I mean, I don't think there's any argument to be made heading into the Broncos game as if by playing these guys it's going to be any worse. I mean, if that was we want veterans to play so there's not mistakes, well, we just saw it and that got you nowhere. And I understand Gardner Minshew getting hurt really screwed things over to begin with, the way things were set up. But you got all these injuries. You've got I think while yes, Travis Kelce is still giving effort, when you have a team that is full of a lot of guys that are used to playing in every game that matters and playoff games and Super Bowls, now you're playing in games like this, I think naturally, it doesn't even mean that they're intentionally not having effort. Like, I think naturally you're not as amped up. How could you be? You're playing in Nashville on a noon kickoff against Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans.
From the playoffs.
Yeah.
I thought the defense showed a little bit of fight in the first half. Like, they looked like they were trying to win and then still get
When it was 3-2 or whatever it was. Or 3-2.
It was 3-2 at one point on the scoreboard. The Chiefs took the lead to go up 3-2. And they showed emotion. Trey Smith, you could see him say, "Get your head in the game," or whatever over on the sideline.
I thought it was a lot of wake the F up.
Yeah,
him and Creed. Well,
so,
I mean, I appreciate it, but also where was that fire on the sideline weeks ago?
Yeah.
Weeks ago.
Look, but this is what's so frustrating is at some point, and I'll only give you, I mean, if you don't do it on Thursday, then you're just never, I mean, it's not like it's going to all of a sudden happen against the Raiders. And at that point, you've already blown all these other snaps. I'll actually be kind of mad, again, if you change course on week 18 and finally decide to play Bossa somewhere. Like, what the hell? What'd you do with all
I
those
won't be
other
mad.
snaps?
I would love for that to happen week 18.
I guess I'll just be more annoyed at the previous 2 weeks of why the hell did you waste all this time when they could have been getting those snaps then? What took you so long to turn the corner? Only 30 of the 50 players on this roster under contract next year. And one ain't Mike Edwards or Jack Cochran. And it's not meant to be like, or Pacheco necessarily yet. Even if you sign Pacheco back, which I don't think is going to happen, you know who Mike Edwards is. You know who Pacheco is. You know, definitive, without question, Gold, what those players are and what they are capable of. This is a team that wants to get back to the Super Bowl next year. They will talk internally that they are going back to being a Super Bowl contender next year. Whether you believe it or I believe it or whatever, let's not get into that. They will go into the season saying that is possible. I do think it's possible. If you're doing that, why wouldn't you try to figure out who you have and which players you have in order to get there? And so that part of it, I just will not understand. It was the most, even more than the poor play on the field goal or everything else that happened, it was the most frustrating thing about the game on Sunday. It wasn't even the play. It was the fact that they were just unwilling to even play Brashard Smith, play Bossa, play Hicks, any of them.
Did everybody watch the game just different anyway? Because I know there was somebody that texted in and said, hey, they went Christmas shopping. I normally, will not watch a Chiefs game that
Couldn't even bother to get mad.
from at a bar. Like normally I like watching it at home and, I have my laptop and we're obviously taking notes and we watch it differently. This was when a friend of mine was in town with his family and stuff. And so I was like, oh, this is actually perfect timing. It's a game that doesn't really mean anything. I'll go to a bar. I know you were out at Dave & Buster's as well yesterday. So I watched it differently, frankly, more casually, and I didn't miss much. I had a TV in front of me. It was a Chiefs game, but I had every other game, and we were still normally I would not have talked as much because I'd want to be watching the game. I would normally want to make sure I wasn't missing what the announcers were saying. It didn't matter for this one. It didn't matter.
I didn't miss anything.
I mean, Gardner Minshew got hurt, a drive into the game? I think in a span of 8 plays, unfortunately, going back to last week, 2 of their quarterbacks tore an ACL.
Yeah.
That sucks. And I feel terrible for Gardner Minshew.
I do, because he had a chance to be the backup, but now he can't.
Yeah, he had his audition opportunity, and now he's not going to be ready for the start of the season.
No. I don't know who their backup will be next year, but it's not Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, it's going to be pick your, any of the potential free agent quarterbacks. There's your answer.
Yeah, pretty much. They don't have a starting job.
If Tua gets cut, he's in play. If Jameis obviously is out there, he's in play.
Doesn't get a starting job, maybe
all these guys.
I don't know who it'll be.
Doesn't it seem like it's going to be Marcus Mariota?
That's what on last week we brought up, and he just got hurt with the Commanders again. It feels like he would actually be a decent fit, but man, he's turnover prone. I feel like you're really, although so is Jameis. So
I kind of think if they end up Russell Wilsoning Tua, it could very easily be him. Short pass, accurate guy, knows some of the stuff. I could see them making an argument for,
sign Tua for 4 weeks and then trade him after that.
Yeah, if he looks good, or just hold on to him, it doesn't really matter. But they're going to have to, because I think this is pointed out on like a Ringer podcast. You really have 3 options for what you do with Tua. You can Russell Wilson him, so you can just eat the entirety of the $99 million, start over from scratch, and hope you're the top seed in the AFC in a couple of years, like they managed to do. You can Brock Osweiler him, which is you can give a team a free draft pick from taking all your cap hit, or you can Kirk Cousins him, which is he can be the most expensive backup on the planet. And if things go south for whatever quarterback you draft or whatever, at least he's still there as like a safety net of you could do a lot worse at quarterback, even though he's no good.
Well, look, I would be, if you told me he got flat out cut, I would be all about having Tua come in and start 3 weeks if that's what's necessary next year. That with this system, as much as we're down on the overall offensive scheme, I think he would give you a pretty decent chance to win 3 games without even knowing the schedule or anything like that.
I think Andy Reid he'd probably look about as good as he ever has.
All right, let's get to it. It is time for the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold, for you, Spec, over on the text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, you can hit us up on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Like and subscribe over on YouTube, where you can follow everything we do on the channel. But we do live stream the show every single day for 4 hours. So we'll get that taken care of as well. So the question I have for you today is Jake Paul's boxing career over after his fight with Anthony Joshua on Friday night? Whether you saw the fight or not, I am sure you saw the photo of Jake Paul, the living embodiment of a meme, genuinely scared. And honestly, even more than that photo, the photo of the other side of Joshua grinning ear to ear before he got ready to break that man's jaw must have been the most terrifying moment of anyone's life. And we joked for all these years about Jake Paul's unwillingness to fight a real boxer in their prime who actually boxes. He did it once, and I felt like his actual life was at risk. I think he's done. This is it for his boxing career. No one's going to care who he boxes next or if he boxes again. And he got plenty of money out of it. He doesn't feel bad about it. That was the end of Jake Paul's boxing career last night.
Yeah, so I told you I wasn't going to watch, but then what happened is the Friday night Alabama-Oklahoma game got over, and it was 10:30, and I caught the last 2 rounds of that fight. And it was a lot of Jake Paul flopping onto the mat and grabbing Anthony Joshua's leg as if it was like your child, and you're like, your child's crying, and you're trying to like walk away a little bit, and you're dragging her behind you she's grabbing your leg. That's what it was. He was like just would not let go of Anthony Joshua's leg,
dropping his hands.
He broke his jaw. He said he's going to take time off.
He has to legally, but boxing makes you take a break. If you break your jaw, you have to take.
Well, he needs
You're
to.
suspended for a period of time.
He's an unbelievable marketer. No matter however you look at his fighting and all that, he's a great marketer and influencer and all that. He will have something else. I'm not convinced fully that he's never going to fight again, but there will be something else. I mean, they made $92 million each, $92 million each for that crap on Friday night.
But like. For somebody who, like, I was worried they weren't even going to, and I still wonder deep in my head if Paul didn't realize Joshua was going to hit him like that. Because they're not legally allowed to have a prearranged, like, no knockout agreement. Not for a sanctioned fight, which this was. That would actually be illegal because there's sports wagering and a million other things. It would be illegal for them to have a no knockout clause when there's wagers and come in on it. But part of me thinks he didn't actually think Joshua would hurt him.
I don't know what their agreement was. That's what everybody thought.
Maybe he wouldn't, do that to him, because the look on his face is of genuine fear. Like normally people they get boxed, they're not like afraid. They understand they're in trouble, but like they don't like put like an actual terror look on their face. Did you watch part of the fight?
As I said, the last 2 rounds.
Yeah, last 2 rounds. Spec, do you watch any part of it?
No chance.
He's got a massive following, man. Like there'll be something like as much as we're like, oh my gosh, the fight $92 million each for a reason. There is a massive following behind him. And I'm not even, that's not even including like the prime drink stuff or whatever that the kids like. My nephews are obsessed with that. I think it tastes terrible, by the way. It's so bad. It tastes like crap. It really does.
Not as good as a Gatorade, huh?
No.
Not hitting the same?
Propel's great, Spec. Propel's great.
I just feel bad for the people who,
the
previous
paid for it.
4 or 5 fights thought that he was a real fighter.
Well, that's...
And they're like, oh, he's a really good boxer. He's professional. I'm sorry to tell you.
He was a better boxer than I thought he would be. Like, when he announced I'm going to be a professional, I was like, you know what? He is better than I thought he would be. I never thought he was a good boxer. He didn't box anyone who was real.
Exactly. But there were people who would tell you, look, he's the next up-and-comer.
That is a random question today. We got some breaking news. We kind of expected this to be the case. Sam McDowell, just in the last couple of minutes from the Kansas City Star, did send out a tweet saying the Chiefs have informed administration officials that they will announce their move to Kansas today, pending the expected LCC approval. So we know there's this meeting that's taking place at 1 o'clock that's going to require approval from this committee at the state level. But if there was any ounce of still doubt about this happening, There you go. By the way, Bob Fesco in Topeka as well. He's going to be providing coverage from today's events, the LCC meeting, and then, of course, an expected press conference at 3 o'clock today with Governor Laura Kelly. So stay tuned to the drive after us as well for some of that a little bit later on. But if you were still, I guess, thinking that, no, you guys are fake news, there you go. It's happening. It's happening. The Chiefs are going to Kansas.
I mean, behind closed doors, pretty much the only thing the Chiefs were doing was saying, like, just as long as they approve it, we'll be going to Kansas. And so this is not surprising or shouldn't be surprising to anyone. And like I said, you should have been putting your effort. If you're Jackson County and you're Missouri, you should be putting your effort into what other Hail Mary option you have to actually save the Royals, because the second on Friday all this stuff started to leak out, and Thursday all this stuff started to leak out, it's pretty clear that the Chiefs were headed to Kansas and that announcement will happen today. They're going to meet at 1. It's pretty much a formality. They're all going to approve it. And then at 3 o'clock, the governor will make a massive announcement that they're moving to Kansas. And then we'll find out. What I'm most curious about is not, because I know they're going to announce it, is how much of the details will they give us?
Right.
Will they tell us stadium site? Do they have a rendering for the stadium? Do they have, like, which part of the details will we actually get? Who owns the stadium? Like, because sometimes it's the team who owns it. Sometimes it's the county. Like, there are actual things I'm curious about as a part of this. But whether or not they're going seem like a done deal, I guess, going into the day.
Which is why I still don't get why, and I know politics is partially the answer, but you can still claim that you're talking without being so confident like the mayor was with CDOT on Friday. This was a little bit of that interview where he said there will not be an announcement that the Chiefs are leaving.
And why are you hearing a lot of people talking? Because you got a peacock if you want to steal something. That's the idea. But I'm actually not concerned. I'm sitting here fairly comfortable with where we are, the relationships we have, the negotiations we have. But I will say who will make the news and who will break the news. It ain't going to sneak up on Twitter or on this 7 a.m. hour of a radio show. It's going to be something that you see actually firmly announced, and you will not see that on Monday.
Well, I think that's going to be inaccurate.
I was a little too confident.
Think that, see, again, like that part was so unnecessary. You can say, hey, we're confident when we presented our best offer, and we're this flat out say, though, on Friday, when everybody at that point in time, everything was trending towards what is about to happen today was going to happen.
To say they're not making an announcement on Monday.
Yeah.
I got bad news. Coming up at 1 o'clock, they're gonna meet here in the next 5 minutes. If anything is said in there that definitively declares it, we will certainly let you know.
For sure.
But then at 3 o'clock, when she makes her announcement, that'll obviously be played on the drive. And we'll have, I can assure you, the best content related to it and these stadium deals. But it's going down. Whether Missouri wanted to admit it, for whatever reason, not admit it on Friday, or admit it this morning when they were still releasing letters, like Lovoda was still sending a letter to the Chiefs trying to convince them. But largely that's lip service, saying they're going to try to say, we offered the better deal. They didn't take the better deal. But there's a difference between
it's your job to close the deal, though.
It is, but also like
not, and by the way, not the mayor specifically. No, I just mean in general, the state of Missouri and everybody involved.
Kansas has guaranteed money. Missouri was still saying you were going to have to go to a vote. So, like, maybe more money if everything went perfect. But the last time the Chiefs went to a vote, it didn't go so great. And they get more development in this area. So we'll keep you up to date.
All right, up next, Nate Taylor from ESPN will join us in studio. We will talk stadium and about the move to Kansas. That's expected to be announced here very, very soon. And also looking ahead to the offseason a little bit. That's coming up here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The year-end sales event is going on right now at Shawnee Mission Ford. Whether you're looking for that beautiful new Ford F-150, I've been driving that truck for the last couple of weeks. It's perfect during the cold winter months, not only if you need to get on the job site, the zone lighting to make sure that you're feeling pretty safe when you're going to a dark area, or you just need the lighting for camping, whatever it may be, heated seats, heated steering wheel. It's been awesome to drive around. But the year-end sales event makes it really easy for you over at Shawnee Mission Ford because there's 0% financing going on right now on new 25 Escapes, Explorers, those F-150s, Transit vans, Super Duty, you name it, plus 90 days till your first payment. And now, till the end of the year, you'll receive an additional $1,000 rebate. So that's 0% for 60 months, 90 days till the first payment, 90 days of Blue Cruise as hands-free driving, plus the $1,000 rebate till the end of the year over at Shawnee Mission Ford. They're on a mission to do more.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hellsberg gifts checked off the list. Now, time for wrapping. Earrings for mom. A gold bracelet to match the rings Danielle wears every day. And for dad, a new watch, because we all know he needs one. All right, this is gonna be a good one.
Our favorite things for your favorite people. Shop in store at Hellsberg.com for up to 50% off.
The world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circa Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circa Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
This afternoon, expect partly sunny skies with a high of 58.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have an easy holiday at Staples. Save on top tech and gaming gifts, shipping supplies and services to get your packages there safely, even custom cards and wrapping paper. Staples. That was easy.
Hey, football fans, tune in this week to kick off with Boomer and Valenti, where the guys break down the biggest headlines and storylines from across the NFL. Kickoff with Boomer and Valenti is brought to you by the Home Depot. When the job calls for the best, call on Makita, available at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
This season, enjoy stress-free comfort with easy booking and trusted service from Anthony. Save up to $4,500 on a new high-efficiency HVAC system. Schedule today at anthonyphce.com.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
If ringing in the holidays includes cheers and libations, Gomer's has your back. Voted #1 KC Liquor Shop, they offer a wide variety of beer, wine, and spirits at great prices. Stop by one of their 5 locations. You'll be glad you did.
Ben, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts at treating ED. And as a Prometic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season, a renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Got any gadgets? Get online protection. NordVPN has a ho-ho holiday deal just for you. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro feature helps you avoid malware, phishing, and annoying trackers. Just a few taps and you're safer online. Let your gadgets sparkle with online security. Go to NordVPN.com and get up to 77% off plus 3 extra months. NordVPN.
No gift? No problem. With Target's last-minute gifts, the holidays are a breeze. You can score on the hottest toys, beauty must-haves, chocolatey stocking stuffers, and much more. And if you need it now, no worries. Swing by any Target store today and snag all the stocking stuffers and gifts for the most magical season yet. Step into the holidays, check off everything on your list, and save big on your last-minute gifts. Only at Target. Restrictions apply.
Paid for by term provider. Premiums will vary. Plans depend on age, location, and other factors. Visit biglou.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-529-2856. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-529-2856 or biglou.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. We're expecting to have Nate Taylor join us in studio from ESPN. Certainly plenty to discuss with him, not only stadium front, but Chiefs and what we saw yesterday in Nashville. If you're just joining us for the first time today, moments ago, the Legislative Coordinating Council meeting just opened up. Now, they've got some other business they're taking care of, it looks like right now. But at some point during this meeting, the expectation is that they will approve the Chiefs stadium plan and the financing, which will allow the Chiefs to move from Missouri to Kansas. There's also a press conference scheduled at 3 o'clock with Governor Laura Kelly to make a special announcement, announce that there's a stadium for the Chiefs that is going to be built for the Kansas City Chiefs. Bob Fesco is in Topeka. We'll keep an eye on his social media as well. I saw he just put out a photo of Mark Donovan and Clark Hunt, who are obviously there. And it is funny if you watch the video, Cody, of this council meeting or whatever that's going on. A lot of red ties. You know,
they have Chiefs flags outside the Capitol building. Well, yeah. That aren't always there.
Yeah,
like
it's obviously happening. Yeah,
and I don't think there were a couple of random texters here and there that maybe were still in a state of believing the delusion of the possibility that this was all not going to happen. Because again, the mayor of Kansas City was, I would say, oddly confident on Friday that this was not a done deal. But yeah, the Chiefs are going to go to Kansas. My biggest concerns, because like you and I have said this before, the drive, the location, that stuff matters very little for football, in my opinion, because you go every other week for 8 weeks out of the year. It's not like baseball. It doesn't need to be as centrally located, in my opinion. You can build up stuff around it and develop around that, and all that stuff makes sense. I do fear like I would have preferred retractable versus dome, and some of those other things, but we'll see.
Spec, you're keeping an eye on this meeting. Where are we at right now? I don't know if we're going to go out to it, but what did you just
We're
see?
not going to go out to it. So what just happened was it was the fourth thing on the ballot or whatever. I'm not going to use the right terms, but you know what I'm talking about. The bringing a professional sports team to Kansas was the fourth thing on the LCC's agenda. So they just got to it after passing or denying 3 other things first. What they've now done is they have turned off the YouTube feed and they have cleared the room for people who are not supposed to be in there. When it goes to a vote, They will bring everybody back in. They will reopen the feed. So no vote is not being taken in front of the public, but right now they are in a closed-door session talking about bringing the Chiefs to Kansas.
Okay, so they're getting some of the details maybe worked out. They're in executive session right now in Topeka with Mark Donovan, Clark Hunt in attendance with all this going on. I guess when they get ready to take the vote, if it happens during our show, we'll take that live when that period of the meeting takes place. We don't know. They could be in this executive session for 10 minutes. It could be 45 minutes. We really don't know.
Governor Kelly speaks at 3, so this could be an hour or so.
We don't know. Yeah.
Who knows?
So we'll keep an eye on that.
Our Chiefs insider, Nate Taylor, will not be joining the show today. He actually has to head out to Topeka in honor of this announcement as well. So we won't get Nate, but we'll catch up with him the next time as we keep an eye out on where the Chiefs are headed in this. Look, I think by all reporting, they're leaning towards dome, like open air dome, kind of in the similar style of like you think of Allegiant. I don't know what the actual style will look like, but in that idea of it feels more open air, but it's more a true dome. My biggest fears are not about the location of this in Gold, but instead the things that I do think impact the play on the field. Dome teams don't do as well in the playoffs. I do think you lose some of the home field advantage you've grown accustomed to when you start talking about PSLs and the issues of affordability and what made Arrowhead for a long time. I think that you run into challenges from you've been, I think, getting an advantage of playing outdoors, in the cold, in the playoffs, in your environment, loud and raucous Arrowhead. That's going to be something you're going to have to make up for, that you're going to be missing and going there. It doesn't mean because you and I talked about this, I wanted the Chiefs to build a new stadium. I thought it was kind of throwing money into a pit to renovate Arrowhead, and it didn't make sense based on the timing and the quarterback they had. But I fear those things for the on-field product in what you lose by switching to like a dome. You know?
When you look at a move like this, there are going to be pros and there are going to be cons. One of the biggest questions and what could end up being a negative is certainly that the open air element of the conditions and the favorability that you have. We all know what it meant for the Miami Dolphins coming to Arrowhead when it was negative whatever at that point in time. And the Dolphins had no chance in large part because of the weather immediately. They got off that plane, they were screwed. And so, yeah, you will lose that element to it. Unfortunately, I think we look around the NFL, there are going to be very few stadiums, Cody, that are even going to have that in play. I mean,
one's still in your division,
Denver, Buffalo, and then, on the NFC side, you've got Philadelphia and Chicago, although Chicago's talking about building a new stadium. So we'll see ultimately if that's going to be closed. Cleveland is not going to be open air anymore. They're about to finalize a new stadium. There's only going to be like 4 or 5 left that are true in cold weather. I'm talking about
Pittsburgh. Chicago, but again,
DC, although they're building a new stadium, and I don't know if their plan is with the Commanders to have it be open air or not. There's no doubt from that aspect. The PSL thing, and that's going to be fascinating for this to play out.
Some current Chiefs season ticket members.
For people that aren't familiar with that, just about every single new stadium now has it, these personal seat licenses. Depending on where the seat is, there's different tiers to it. So in addition to whatever your price is for that ticket that year, you will also, usually you can pay it over a 10-plus year period, you will have to pay for a license. So let's say it's a club level seat. That license, I'm just throwing out numbers, okay? We have no idea. $25K per seat just for the license. That gives you the right to buy tickets for the Taylor Swift concert, the Final Four, the whatever, right? That's what these PSLs are. And there will be people that are absolutely priced out. I mean, of course, that will happen with this. No doubt. There will also be, most likely, Cody, fewer seats than what Arrowhead has because you're going to have far more suites. So there will be more suites than what you had prior to that. So there will be adjustments. Now, I disagree with somebody saying there's no home field advantage anymore. I disagree with that.
I still think the people make more of the home field advantage. So I still think Kansas City is a loud place and the fans show up for the team. And I still think they'll have a home field advantage. It won't be like Los Angeles or when they go to the Chargers Stadium.
Or the Raiders in Vegas.
Or even Nashville in that sense. We saw how much red was there in Nashville. I don't think now. Do I think people from out of town will make Kansas City a bucket list city to go see the new stadium? Yeah, but they do that with Arrowhead now anyway, and probably will for the next 4 years as they look to build this stadium. So
look, I think people want me to go all doom and gloom today, and that's fine. And it's no secret that people on the text line from the 816 hate it, and the people from the 913 like it. And look, I'm acknowledged. I don't know what some of you are expecting. me to say about the stadium. They're saying you're just scoffing at the idea of home field advantage. I just laid out you. I agree with you that the home field advantage will not be the same. What I'm not going to do is act like it's going to just be a bunch of people in suit and ties at the stadium. I've been with Cody to 3 Super Bowls covering them, and we used to think going to those even that, it's just a bunch of corporate people and there's no atmosphere. And that's the Super Bowl. We're talking about insane pricing for tickets. And you can attest to this as well. The atmospheres were awesome. So I think both can be true. We can say
it'll never be the same.
It will never be Arrowhead again. No. It's also not going to be the worst atmosphere in the NFL. Stop. Like, that's what I mean by I'm not going to go doom and gloom on that for you today.
No, I think that's a reasoned stance. By the way, real quick, the Chiefs did sign Shane Buechele off of the Bills practice squad. So if you're curious who will back up Oladokin, it'll be the long-term chief. Shane Buechele, who was obviously with the organization a bunch, he got signed off the practice squad according to Adam Schefter. But
and then I think also Gardner Minshew, according to Ian Rappaport, ACL was intact. So
that's nice.
ACL was spared. Sources telling Ian Rappaport his knee is still injured, should miss game time, but at least for his sake long term, did not tear his ACL.
Well, that gives him at least a small chance still to be the backup for the Chiefs, so we'll see. But when you look at this